Hey, so Max, we're getting some complaints about your dress code here. This is a respectable podcast. Yes. So we're not looking like homeless people. Mind you, you have a different hoodie on today, so that's great. But people are complaining about your look here. You're starting to look like a homeless person, and no offense to homeless people, but this hoodie and this long hair and all this stuff. We have a dress code here. And now you're with Mayako. There's a dress code there. You got to be professional. So you know what, man? This hippie stuff, this homeless, I don't know. What is this? Homelessness? Like the homeless, like I don't know. What is this fashion that we are talking about here?
Okay. If people have complaints, I'll head out to the flea market and buy a hoodie with, no, not a hoodie, like a shirt with rainbows and like psychedelic pictures on it. So maybe that'll do better.
I visit the flea market too to buy clothes, so it's no big deal. I'm a big boy. Yeah. It's the only place I could get some clothes sometimes down here in the DR. But you know what, Max?
That's a sustainable way to buy clothes. So I support flea markets for sure.
Yeah, but we got people ask about this thing right here, whatever that is on your face. But you know what?
It grows out.
It's growing very weird. It's growing very weird right now. You should trim that stuff. It's looking unkempt.
You look unkempt.
Right, yeah, because I haven't had my weekly trim. Okay, so normal guys they get
you
haircuts.
lost the Manscaped sponsor, so now you're manscaping.
I didn't lose the sponsor. They just guys weren't buying this stuff, so they stopped paying me.
Okay.
Anyway, intro, you know what? We got an intro because we got some stuff to talk about. We got some questions to answer, and we got some stuff to talk about. So you know what? It's time for that intro.
Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about
it. Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Oh, all right. No, my internet dropped or
What
something.
a professional. Oh,
no, but we'll erase this. So let's go in 3, 2, 1. So yes, Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number, I think it's number 1. Yes, number 163 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great. And to my virtual right is the homeless one, the arrogant one, Maximus Mortimus. Max, this 2 podcasts in 1 week. We've been doing this. We're busy.
We are busy, but they are slightly shorter now. Well,
yeah.
To
this
be honest,
one will be shorter, I think.
This one will be shorter, but
maybe not. I mean, the goal is to be shorter, but
yeah, we'll probably just end up doing 2 5-hour podcasts every week.
No, we can't do that. So yeah, this is our plan for hopefully for this year is like Monday, Tuesday we'll do news recaps, stuff like that, and then the Fridays will be the interview, or maybe just us having a podcast with questions and maybe some other things, maybe a rant. We have a rant today, but that's coming up later. And but yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. We greatly appreciate that. I have to say my thanks and shout outs to everybody. Big shout out and thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. Without you guys, we can't do this. We greatly appreciate your support. You've been supporting us for a long time. We greatly appreciate it. And you know, we love it. We love the Discord too. Don't forget to join that Discord. We're up to 350 members. And I know I haven't been as active lately because I've been kind of busy. But we want you guys to join our Discord. There will be a link in the written description of this podcast. It's a place to discuss RC. It's not about, we everybody can have opinions and stuff like that there. We're trying not to fight. We're just trying to talk about RC, get to know each other, build a cool community and all that type of stuff. So check out the NNRC Discord. Let's get that up to 400 members. And yeah, also shout out to the patrons of the NNRC. You guys have been awesome. I can't do without you. It helps pay these bills. It helps pay this guy over here too. So well, part of it, greatly appreciate that. And if you like what we're doing at the NNRC, and the patrons will get an early release of our rant this week, so they'll know what we're talking about before everybody else. And I am working with somebody right now to try and work out a patron only type of RC Fantasy League with our NNRC Cup Max. I don't know how that's going to work out. I don't know nothing about fantasy leagues. I've never done it. So I'm putting that all in the hands of somebody else.
All I know about fantasy leagues, it is a skill-based game.
Okay. All right. So it's not, okay. Got you. I guess that's all we need to know about those legal terms. Yeah. So I thank you guys for that are patrons. If you wish to be a patron of the podcast, a link is in the written description for that. Also, we can't do this without the awesome companies that support us and believe that this is a great platform for advertising. And I'd like to shout out to our new title sponsor for the year, Invisible Speed. You guys, look, the book is great. The online course is better. It's getting better. JQ is going to finish up the videos, all that stuff. It's a great thing. I think Invisible Speed is good for everybody, especially for new people. And it's good for people who have many years experience. You can learn something from it. If you learn something from the book, you'll learn something from the course. So thank you to Invisible Speed for their support. Also, shout out to High Tech RC, TNR Fuels, Beach RC, Techno RC, Lugs RC Racing, Mayako, the Mayako Movement, JQSM, G-Spec RC Tuning for all your cable needs, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic for all of your traction needs, Racecraft USA, get pitted with them, Clinic RC, check out those badass filters that Tony has. JTP RC, he's got his new engine. That's cool. I was supposed to have Teebs on this week, but he's kind of burnt out after SIC, and I don't blame him because there was a long race. And did I miss anybody? Yes, RCGP entries are opening. We're recording this on Wednesday. They were opening on Thursday. Will HB guys be able to go? We'll see. We'll talk about that later. But you can sign up for RCGP through House of RC. If you already have a profile, it's pretty easy to do. I tested it the other day and paid. I'm not racing. I just tested it for them. Take it easy, people. It works. And yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to my boy Eddie Fikes and Uncle Eddie's all-purpose seasoning. And a special shout out to some friends that help us out. RC Kevin, check him out. He's doing blogs in English and French. He's not racing too much because Canada's kind of been on lockdown. Shout out to the Viking, David Ronafalk, and Alex Hagberg. And shout out to Jared Tebow because he supports this podcast and he gets in and he gets it. And I'm going to tell you why he gets it in a little bit as well. So, Max, real quick, we kind of talked a lot on Monday. So just catch up real quick. Why Tebow gets it. So remember my post the other day about sick, and I said, excuse me, I burped. I felt that I got to edit that out. That just came out of nowhere. Sorry, people. Remember my post that I kind of blew up the internet twice this week. I don't know. Am I turning into JQ by blowing up the internet?
No, you are. Okay. You are not like. You're not going into the deep secrets of people so that you actually hurt them. You're just saying some inconvenient things for people so they get them talking. Where JQ would call people out on their whole existence. And
no, yeah, JQ goes for the juggler. You know what I mean?
JQ goes for the TKO. You go for the little jab on the
No, but it's not a jab. I didn't do this. So I just put it out there. So it was no jabs about the biggest losers. And my thing was like, I was trying to say like the biggest guys who probably were going out of SIC saying, wow, I wanted to do better than that. And I didn't have Tebow on there as a winner or loser, but he kind of got it. So people was like, what about Tebow? He ran this and this. And I say, look, we're only talking about Nitro Buggy. Yes, Tebow done well in Truggy. He done well. But he even admitted, he goes, I agree with what you wrote. He goes, I don't want to be third. I want to win. You know what I mean? And that's what people have to understand is that these guys want to win. He still is competitive and he wants to win. And, you know, and he was like, I agree with what you wrote. And he goes, I'm not upset at all. I agree with you. People have to understand we're here to win, not to come third. He goes, yes, third's a great finish, but I want it first. And that's why he's a multiple time world champion and 6-time Neo champion and everything else above. So, but you know, I was talking to him and he's like, I'm just going to get ready for DNC. He's like, that's all I'm worried about now is DNC. And that's actually a race that Tebow can do very well. So for all the people that not all the people, but a few people got upset about me calling losers. They're not losers. We're not calling them losers. I'm saying they are the biggest losers coming out of SIC, you know, and I'm going to continue to do it. Okay. So maybe I should put it like drivers who did really well and drivers who are on suicide watch now. You know what I mean? And no offense to anybody.
That's even worse.
Yeah. No offense to anybody that suicide's a serious thing. You know what I mean? But it's a joke that we have when some like JQ always on suicide watch. When he figures out that he sucks, it's like hide all rope and hide all sharp objects because JQ is looking to off himself. So people, don't get upset at the messenger. Get upset at the messages like that are coming. Well, in the HB thing, it was nothing to do with me, but we'll talk about that later. Max, anything before we go into these questions? Anything that you noticed in RC that you wanted to talk about in the few days that we haven't talked about this?
Nothing major, really. Yeah, I think we catched up on a lot on Monday, and let's just go forward to the questions.
Yeah. So, and also people, I know this kind of got caught up in SIC and all that hype. Well, we did a badass interview with Dakota Fenn, and that was up last Friday, and it's really good. And I think people just don't know it's up there. So go check that out because we're pushing our pods a lot. And on contrary enough, we have HB driver Jackson Brunson as our guest this week.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about HB more later on. And it was a good chat with Jackson and I enjoyed it. And I hope you guys did too, because I was wondering why he made the move to HB. And when he explained it to me, I fully understood it. So if you want to know why Brunson left AE and moved to HB, you'll find that out on this podcast. And thank you to Jackson for his time. And you know what? I will give Jackson, he made the main at SIC in all his classes, I believe, that he ran. Truggy and Buggy. So good to him. All right, Max. So should we just go right on to the questions? You know, the Beach RC bench racing Q&A. So everybody, as you guys know, this part of the podcast is brought to you by Beach RC. Thank you to Brent and Lucas and all them guys for all their support. And yeah, you know what? Here we go.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
And a big shout out to Beach RC and Brent and all them guys. Congratulations on the moves that they made over silly season, buying Badlands, getting S-Works. Unfortunately, they won't be doing Mayako, but my relationship hopefully will stay the same because I like Brent and I like what he's doing. And Beach RC puts a lot of money back into the RC community. So, hey, we have affiliate links. I know if you guys can use that, go ahead. If not, show them some love and say, hey, I heard about Beach RC on the No Name RC podcast. So, Maximus, we have a few questions. Not too many. I thought we'd have more, but we have a few questions. that we have to talk about this week. And so should we start on the Facebook questions?
Yeah, let's start with that.
All righty then. Let me bring up my Facebook questions. All right. So this comes from our Facebook post on NNRC. And the first question is actually something we talked about this past week on the podcast. My question is why Dave can't afford a good camera guy to actually follow the battles at his events? We missed out on so many at SIC. Well, Gary, we went over this on the last pod, and we even gave Dave a solution on how we can get people there to do this better. And let's get this right. I don't think we need to see every single race moving cameras and all that type of stuff, but definitely some better camera work for I didn't even think SIC needed 2 cameras. It just needed a good camera guy on the one camera to follow the race. Now, 2 cameras would have been great, but I was happy with the 1 camera and the pit camera, because the pit camera was actually really good this year. You know, you got to see crashes and you got to see the amazing pit stop by Jeremy Caston, who I still think is awesome. And then we have to say the funniest pit stop was Mitch and Corey. And I'm still giving Mitch crap about that. Because he tried to fill up the fuel. I think he just got distracted and thought, I was like, Mitch, what are you doing? But yeah, we gave some solutions for that the other day. So I don't know if we want to touch on that, but it's pretty simple. Dave played the PNB commercial 3,000 times over that weekend, and that could have been 3,000 times worth of sponsor promotion for their sponsors that provided that, and he could charge people for that, and that can then therefore pay to have 2-3 people up there running that stuff. And yeah, it just would be better. You know, we get some interviews and stuff like that, you know, and get the manpower in to use it. So we did touch on that a lot more on episode number 162. But great question. And thank you for asking, Gary. All right. Brad Maynard. This is a good question. So, will Dakota Fenn become the next GOAT? And if not, who? Well, I'll be honest. These guys are still kind of far behind when it comes to Cavalier's accomplishments, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. There's like, if we're talking titles, no one's even close to, well, Masami, yes. But like these days, guys, like Cavalier. Cavalier's like, I don't even know how many. Like, I think he has
29 or something like that.
Yeah, that's
29 national titles or something like that.
Yeah, and EFMAR titles even. He has
4, I think.
At least 4, yeah.
Yeah. And his 4 Reedy Race championships.
Yeah, that too. Like, he's dominated that race too. So
and on-road championships in Reedy Race.
To be honest here, Cavalieri has not won an 8-scale Worlds. And
no, he has
not won too many 8-scale Roar Nationals. I can't even remember which one who would have won. I'm not sure.
He has. I think I should know this because I wrote about this. You know what I mean? So actually, while we're doing this, I'll try and look up that post. But he has a Neo Buggy win too. So
well, that one he has, yes. But I'd say Cavalieri is very good in 10 scale, and he has been good as well in 8 scale. But to be honest, I really struggle to find sort of the GOAT status driver in RC. There isn't a Lewis Hamilton or a Michael Schumacher who just dominates for so long. Someone like Davide or Ronnefolk, in my opinion, are the most prominent drivers to be that. Because Davide already at the age of, I believe, 20, which he is now, has a world title, doesn't have an Euros title, but has podiums, has won Neo Buggy, and doesn't have a DNC win.
Okay, just for correction, so I went back on my Instagram post from my driver intros for the Nationals. Cavalieri has 4 world championships, 24 national titles, 4 Reedy Race championships, one Neo buggy, multiple other big wins. He's won like Silver State, DNC, I believe. And he won his first 8-scale nationals back in 2005 with a Kyosho, and again in 2011 with Team Associated. So he's won as many nationals as Mayfield. 8-scale nationals as Mayfield.
Yeah. So
I don't know his truck record, but we're not really worried about that. You know what I mean?
Truck matters too, Keenan.
Yeah, but I didn't look that all up. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. So, but I'd still argue Cavalieri. To me, he isn't a GOAT if we talk in 8-scale. He's a GOAT if we talk in 10-scale, 8-scale, which is the American sort of American formula. But when you're talking drivers like, Masami for one, someone would consider Savoya as one as well, winning 3 years in a row.
Badier's won 3 Euros.
Yeah, Robert very well could be in that category too. But yeah, as I said earlier, I don't think we have had a GOAT apart from Masami. And even in Masami's time, oftentimes it was down to equipment, not so much him, because of the nature of the sport at that time. And they have been very good drivers in the past. But to me, it's one driver that people probably don't understand, but is actually very crazy good is Naota Matsukura. He has won 3 12-scale world titles, I believe, at least 3. He has won a 1/10 touring car world title, and he has won a 1/10 Nitro touring car world title. So he has at least 5 world titles, I believe, if more world titles. And these aren't classes that had no drivers. These are classes that have been always competitive when he has run it. And he has made the main in 8-scale Nitro in Perth. He made the 10-scale main in China, and he finished second in 2013, right down the last lap with Stephen Hartson. So this is a driver who has made the IFMAR Worlds in at least, let me see. So Pan cars, touring cars, then 1/8 Nitro on road, 1/10 Nitro on road, 1/8 Nitro off road, 1/10 full drive off road. I'm not sure if he has made it in tool drive, but that's 6 classes which he has made the IFMAR Worlds final in, and in 3 of those classes he has won the world title in, and in one of those classes he led the main for 30 minutes before his car broke, which is the on-road 8-scale. So this is a driver who's at this point not that old yet. He's still in sort of the age where he can compete, and he is running for Infinity, which means for sure he has the resources to do it if he wishes. So I think he's a very undervalued driver. He's basically what Atsushi Hara was for a long time, in my opinion. Right. In terms of results.
So, but let's look at potential GOAT statuses here. Like, wins aside, Mayfield. Like, come on, like Mayfield, and right now he's been probably one of the most dominant 8-scale racers in the last 4 years, I would say.
In America, yes, but worldwide,
but I mean, he hasn't won any worlds, and let's be honest, these guys don't race. You know, without Neo Buggy around anymore, it's like we don't have that. We had so we have DNC, which the Euro guys come over, and Silver State, but now we need that European race where the American guys go to again. Yeah, you know, Neo was that.
The asterisk I have with Mayfield is that the race he has been most dominant in, he has been beaten twice by an European, which is DNC.
Yes,
so
this is true.
That's a very big asterisk, because this is his home turf. That's Arizona. That's pretty much, I don't know if his home track, but very close to being one. When he was in FIA Farm, and now it's been in Paris, which he practiced a lot in these type of conditions, and he has been beaten by a European. So this, in my opinion, is one reason why I can't say he has been dominant, and I can't even say he has been the best driver in the world in the past 4 years. and that's why I don't think, like, obviously he's crazy fast, crazy talented, but that's one thing that keeps me from even putting him in the GOAT conversation, because he doesn't have the titles. He has the titles, but not to that extent.
Not
and he
like
doesn't have
Tebow or these guys, because
yeah.
But
exactly.
I also, like, I understand. He said, I don't think world titles make your career, and that's true too, because we don't have them every year. You know what I mean? We don't have an 8-scale title every year. But I just want to reiterate one, because people think we're hating on Mayfield. Fucking Mayfield is awesome. Like, you know what I mean?
No way, I love
the man. We literally gave him his own word. Like, his last name means to, like, just demolish people on the track. You know, Mayfielded the fucking the race. Like, you know, like, I get that, but he's also 34, 35. You know what I mean? He's probably got, let's say, three more worlds, maybe 4 more worlds. That's 8 years. 4 more worlds.
I think he has to win in the next 2 8-scale worlds if he wants an 8-scale title.
Really? You don't think he has 3 chances? I think he has 6. I think till there's 40. And I think Mayfield, well, we'll know. When Mayfield goes 40, does age make a difference?
I doubt it, because I talked about this with someone, but Mayfield is the only of these old guys, quote unquote old, like Tebow, Cavalieri, these guys, who has gotten better with age consistently. Because Tebow has had his peaks, went down, came up again, then came down, then up again. Whereas Mayfield has, in my opinion, improved every single year. Very consistent.
Well, he learned to back things down a little bit. And
exactly.
That's why he's, you know.
Yeah, but result-wise, he has been better every single year, in my opinion.
So let's touch on real quick, because we spent a lot of time on this question. But I want to say potential GOATs. Dakota Fan is definitely one of them, because he's only 24 years old. And he has a bunch of national titles as it is. And it's like he will win. Ronafalk is another one, because he has 2 Euros, two DNC Nitro Buggy Championships, a World Championship. You know what I mean?
Then he has European Championships in two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And he also has good world's finishes in 10 scale.
Right. And now he's doing a little bit of 10 scale touring car as well. I have, excuse me. We can't, Ongaro has a worlds, but he doesn't have like a Euro championship. He still doesn't have.
I mean, he's 20
years
old.
He does.
The years will come.
Of course.
And
of
he
course.
has two-wheel drive European championships, finished second in two-wheel drive at the Worlds.
Yeah.
And so he.
Well, some guys were forgetting her too. Guys like Coelho. You know what I mean? Coelho is has an on-road championship. He has a European championship in 8 scale. Coelho could legitimately probably be in the world championship final and have a chance to win this year. You know what I mean?
So, Bruno has already 3 world championships. And he isn't that old either. He isn't. I think he's like 25, around there.
Probably 26, 27 now.
Yeah, but he is fast in every single class, and he has won. Kind of like Naoto, where he has won in multiple classes, on-road based, yes, but won in multiple classes. And I think Coelho is definitely in the topic. But I think this is actually a good question, because I as we've talked now, we really can't find a GOAT yet, but we find the people who could be it.
Yes.
So that's something very interesting for the future.
Great question, Brad. Great question.
It was.
Jeff Werner, what's up, coach? How you doing? Go Tampa. He's not a Tampa Bay fan. Max, being a racer that has been to so many big events, what is the one event that you have never ran or been to that you still want to attend?
Yeah, someone asked this before, and I couldn't think of an event I wanted to attend. I think then I replied like the old Silver State, the bumpy outdoors.
Like Boulder City?
100, yeah, like that, like Boulder City.
Oh man, that was rough.
Yeah, something like that definitely would be fun. But what comes to other events, I don't really have I don't really have an event like that. Maybe I need to think of like other classes. Maybe like something
You've
like
done Neo, right?
TITC. Yeah, I've done Neo, both at
Okay.
Harper Adams and at in Redovan.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, like there isn't much I sort of personally wish to attend. Uh, I think like TITC, a touring race in Thailand, that's one of the
Okay.
races that everyone always talks about. So that's something I would like to like see on my own. So yeah, maybe that.
All right, cool. I thought you might say something like Scenic Race or something like that. I mean, it probably.
Scenic is fine, but it's not like it's not that sort of prestigious, you know. And like
Right.
I've been in Manila for RCGP, which basically similar to being a Philippine Masters. So
Yeah.
that's not something I wish to like attend anymore.
All right. So Chris Trudeau always poses like multiple questions within one question. So they always take a long time. But he's a good dude. Him and I talk all the time. He says, for 2022 rivals, in general, do you think that the drivers that made chassis moves make it a goal to best a driver from the previous manufacturer? Pavitas at HB trying to beat AE, Bornhorst versus Tebow, Techno? Yes.
100%.
Yes, I agree.
100%.
I think so, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Bornhorst. That's why I said Bornhorst was a winner this past at SIC. He beat all the guys who were gunning for his job besides Tebow at SIC. And he goes, obviously the driver wants to win regardless, but if they finish ahead of their previous chassis sponsor, does it add something to the race? Yes, I think so.
It does. It is sort of it gives you the sense of, okay, I made the right choice, or like screw these guys, whichever way.
Yeah, you know, it's a good feeling. He says you often see NBA, NFL players trying extra hard against their former team. Do drivers use it also as a way of proving something? Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. And like since I moved to AE, like the way JQ raced me, like he always raced me hard, but it's like you can't even believe how hard he raced me at that point. And you can see like there are situations where drivers are aggressive against specific drivers, and it's very easy to spot. And you know who the guys are when you know people well enough.
Like you think that David Ronnefalk doesn't want to beat he wants to beat everybody, but you know what I mean.
But for sure he's nicer on track to other drivers than others.
Right. So my point is, like, of course he wants to beat. Like, I'm still sure David's still close with a lot of the HB teammates and Cole and all those guys.
Oh, for sure.
But of course he wants to win. He wants to prove everybody that, hey, it's not the car, it's me. You know what I mean? It's gonna be him, car, everything. And talking to him, he's not like, he's unfazed. He's just like ready to get to America and start practicing. So
yeah.
All right. So this is another question. Other than JQ, who does Max consider to be his rival?
Well, when I was running JQ, like the early days, it was always Burak Kilic, because I mean he's a bit younger than me, but we often found ourselves relatively similar positions. But since then we have sort of went to different races. I mean, last I met him was Euro 2019, which he did really well at. And before that, can't even remember which race it would have been. So I don't really have a specific rivals. I don't think. At RCGP it was Lee Martin.
I think anybody that argues you about aerodynamics is your rival. There we go.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Usually I befriend the people who talk about cool stuff with me.
Well, the arrogant Max has lots of rivals. You just don't know about it. Your alter ego arrogant Max.
The funniest thing is people rival me, but I'm always fine with them, you know?
I think a lot of guys I think a lot of the older guys, they kind of get mad. Like, you are smart and you're very confident with your smartness, and I think that scares people.
Yeah.
Don't scare me at all. All right. So he asked, this is a long question. What rivals will you be watching this 2022 season? AE versus TLR, Spencer versus Rivkin. I mean Spencer versus Dakota. I think I would say I would watch Joe Bornhorst versus JQ, but honestly, there is no competition. Like Joe Bornhorst is gonna be so much better than JQ right now that it's unbelievable. Like he is average Joe number one, that is for sure. Oh, is somebody in your house? Like, are you looking at your imaginary brother Rex?
No, there's like it sounds like rainfall, but I don't see rain outside. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't hear that.
Is the building collapsing? No clue.
I think well, no, I definitely think it's going to be an HB Mayako rivalry and a S-Works Mayako rivalry. I don't think S-Works rivalry is going to be too serious, but it looks like the HB rivalry versus Mayako rivalry is going to definitely be serious.
Yeah.
No,
so I don't know how that will play out. Like, they are not sort of occupying the same space because HB has their crew.
Well, HB is far bigger, and also not only that, like on a regional thing and all that stuff. Like HB just has a shit ton of really good drivers too, and regionally and just internationally, they have a lot of good drivers, and S-Works too. Maybe not so much. Like HB in the USA has a big presence. S-Works is still getting there, but who else can we say? I think Techno is still going to have rivalry in between each other. I think like Seth Van Dalen and the guys
will be settled down this year for sure. It won't be like last year.
Oh, you mean the techno thing? Yeah, I think it's settled down. I think they kind of said, "Hey, boom, here it is, guys. Go at it. May the best guy win." And I guess they felt that Seth was the best guy to win, and congratulations to him. So. But Joe, like we said, Joe found a good home at S-Works, and I think he'll be all right there.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree. But I'd still say like the Fend Rivkin rivalry never really played out on the track, and has yet to be played out on track. Online, the live thing being on live at the same time, and that happens. And in 10 scale, 10 scale that has happened. But in 8 scale, it never really played out. It was more of a Mayfield Fend, and then Rivkin versus whoever was fighting for second. And I think, but this year I'd say it is Mayfield and Fend, but now for real. Now for like Fend will actually start to win stuff. He did at AMS, but
and he did at Southern Nets. So.
Actually he did last year. So okay, maybe this year is just like now Mayfield is taking it seriously, and they both will have epic battles. Who knows?
Yeah. All right, so we have a few more questions from Facebook. Joe Zaire Jr., Savage Joe of Ran Out of Talent. I was talking to him this morning. Is stock just as fast or faster than mod? What is the point besides cost?
The point is fragile male egos who cannot run a smaller motor because they really can't handle the power. So they have to make an excuse to run stock so they can put a slower motor in the car. That's the only thing. Most of these guys would be exactly as fast with a 10.5 engine as they are with the 6.5, probably even faster. And just like Tom Rindeknecht showed in the CRC race, he finished like 2 seconds off in 5-minute run with the stock car. So the sole reason why people can't just run a slower engine in the mod class is just that their ego won't allow it. And I
was wondering, like, do you have to run a 6.5? Like, couldn't you just run like a 8.5 or whatever and just be cool with that? Like, like,
no, because you have to have an excuse to run a slower motor because it hurts your ego. And that's the whole thing. Like I get it in like the Bay Area, these pink pinion gear kids running that. I get it. It's one up is in the area. They like it. For them, it's a cool thing. Like it's cleaner. It's like pink pinions, clean wiring, all this stuff. Like that's the thing. But outside of San Francisco and wherever
it's
one up is
SoCal.
based,
SoCal.
Oh, it is SoCal. Oh, San
Yeah,
Diego.
sorry.
Sorry, I went the wrong way. So
Yeah.
San Diego area, away from there, it's basically just people who have a fragile ego. Obviously, Tom ran it for track time.
Well, here's the thing, and we had this, and I'm changing my outlook on stock. We're calling it Pro Spec Mod now. That's a new name for it.
Yeah,
And
I like that.
you know what? I actually think I'm liking stock now a little bit more. I'm not liking the vast amount. Stock is a big money generator for that class. You know what I mean? I think instead of fighting that we're not gonna like, I don't think we're gonna see stock change anytime soon because it just makes too much money.
No.
But I think I think eventually you're just gonna have guys that just run stock. You know what I mean? And because that's where the money is. Like obviously Tom from R1 was running stock because R1 wants to focus on selling stock motors and that's all that type of stuff. And I don't know, man. I think just
Tom obviously was running it for track time as well because
yes,
I think that's pretty clear. Like Tom, like there are drivers like Matthew Gonzalez. I'm not calling him a fragile male because that was like he's sponsored by OneUp. OneUp is very focused on stock, and that's the way he went. Now he's running mod. I think the curve Matthew Gonzalez took, I think that I actually don't have anything against that. I think that's sort of the 250, 450 thing in motocross or the F2, F3, F1 in Formula
well, that's what we
1,
said.
Whichever progression you want. And I think actually this could be one good way to do it. Only issue I have with this is the cost. So a mod car costs much less than a stock car, which is exactly the wrong way how you should do it. Because
I agree.
Like the thing should be that you have a cheaper car. You don't have to have sponsors. You could be a privateer. You do well. You graduate to the mod class, and then you have the better equipment. But right now it's the opposite way, where you have a car that costs $1,000 with titanium, aluminum, everything, lightweight, direct drive, whatever. And then you graduate to mod, you just run the stock car and with a 6.5. So yeah,
bit
silly.
I don't get that part of it, but I think what we're gonna see here now is with carpet and Astro becoming more popular, I think you're gonna see mod's gonna be easier to run. You're gonna have grip. You're gonna have, it's not gonna be feathering around. Come on, like it's carpet and Astro. You have the traction. You can go faster. I don't know. I kind of just say, look, if you're gonna run stock, cool, run stock. You know what I mean? That's it. Enjoy it. I just don't think stock is what we should promote to beginners. Maybe we have a 21.5 class. That's really stock. Let's just change the name from stock to Pro Spec Mod, and then we'll be happy. I think that's it.
Yeah, but there will always be someone who wants to just have the little plastic piece to bring home and just spend way too much money on equipment and have an engine that is so much more powerful than the other ones.
This is true.
But actually, I would like to see this tried out, like a mod class with 7.5 engine or something like this, where you actually have to max everything out. I think this could be interesting because in Formula 1, everything was unlimited before they started to have crazy powerful engines. Then they limited the capacity, and like a lot of like full scale classes limit the engine capacity so that the handling of the car stays like in line with it. In RC, that doesn't happen. We have way too much power for a two-wheel drive car, like way too much. I think it could be interesting to have like a 6.5 blinky class in two-wheel drive. Like, what would happen then? Maybe the focus will be in the car more. So this is something I think will be worth trying. I would like to see what happens because right now it's in my opinion it's just too much power. The driving is, I don't like it this way. Let's put it that way. I don't think, because that's the great part about Nitro is that you actually have to make the car fast. You can't just have the power and just fucking push it every every corner and just ram it. And this is something I think, I kind of like that about Nitro, where the power is limited. You can't really have too much power in Nitro.
Mm-hmm.
I think this could be something really cool in 10 scale. So I'd like to see it tried at least.
Yeah. But look, I'm not anti-stock anymore, guys. I am changed my lays. It's pro spec mod.
Yeah, I think
I'm looking at it as the 250. Okay, so here's a good example. And Tony talked about this on our recap of CRCRC. He goes, look at Christian Craig. Christian Craig, he's a superstar on 250s. Never won he don't think he's won a title. Went up to 450s, didn't do well, came back down. He's back to a superstar. Maybe he's just going to be like a Martin Davalos 250 forever. I think if we look at pro spec mod, which is now stock, which is now pro spec mod like that, it's a better way to look at it. The problem is that we're not getting enough people in the mod class. You know what I mean? So,
but
it just kind of is what it is. We've beat this horse
necessarily mind
completely.
I would like, to be honest, I think what would fix the scenario is having, like, because now we have Blinky 17.5. What if we had Blinky 6.5, Blinky 7.5, whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I think this could be sort of the fix where the high end, very like fidgety cars that Matthew Gonzalez runs, and with wiring that you can't even sort of see where the wire goes because they're very nicely done. Like, did you see the car by some one-up guy where you even couldn't see the wires? They would like.
But it's badass though. I like that stuff. I think
is
it looks
badass,
cool.
but like, it's insane. Like, come on, like, it's an RC car. Make it look like one.
But this is part of.
I mean, that's
it,
his thing. That's his thing,
Yeah.
and that's really cool. I really would like to see how he did it because I was amazed by it. I was just joking around, but yeah, I think that's maybe that's something 10 scale needs. I'd like to see what it would do, because right now there's an issue where the more expensive class is the more beginner friendly, which is it should never be that way.
Yeah, but it's not beginner friendly. That's the issue. It's not.
Yeah, but I mean, it isn't. That's the but it should be like that. The intention of the class is that it should be more beginner friendly. Less power, beginners can get used to the cars, and then they get more power. Like just like in motocross or F1 cars, whatever. Yeah, I think that's this link that's missing. Like, you need to make 70 to, like, you need to make it so that the mod class doesn't have too much power, where those cars can be sort of tuned to the max, and the 17.5 class is so slow that it's not really any use for guys looking to be professionals, like Matthew Gonzalez.
Cool. Well, a couple more questions, and then we gotta go on to our main interview. Benjamin James, can anyone in America beat Ryan Mayfield straight up? Yes, Dakota Fend.
Yeah.
Right now, because they're on the same tires, and I think they can beat each other.
Maybe not at DNC, but maybe not DNC Silver State. I'd still put Mayfield as a big favorite.
And I put Tebow and Tessman. I still will put Tessman in the. He can beat Mayfield at these indoor races. They're going to struggle. Like indoor race time races, you're not going to beat JC guys there. You can beat them, but it's going to be very hard.
But
you
PMB,
know what I mean?
again, PMB you can do good without Jconcepts, I believe. Other races, I think it's more Jconcepts.
And I'm not saying they just won because of Jconcepts. You know what I mean? These guys, they done well. But if I know it was tires. Like, you know what I mean? It's hard.
Yeah.
But I think right now, speed wise, honestly, it's Fend, man. I mean, Fend's just showing. He's the only guy that's out there just blasting the doors off Mayfield in qualifying. Like, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
It just, I think he's the guy to beat him. So we'll see. All right, Brandon Slern, he says, let's talk about class accountability. So Brandon and I talked, and this is a serious topic that comes up every time after a race time event, and it's about sportsman guys that are sponsored sandbagging. So I'm going to say this, and I said this to him. I said, in the end, sponsorship doesn't really mean anything anymore. Does not dictate your skill level. So you have sportsman guys that may have chassis sponsors and all this type of stuff. They're not there because they can drive fast. They're there because probably they're good ambassadors for their team. So we need to stop equating sponsorship with, I think now we need to stop because it doesn't seem okay. Results do matter, obviously. Like if you're in that upper echelon of 100% drivers, you have to have results. But for 50% guys who got a chassis deal and a small chassis deal and they run sportsmen, it does not dictate sponsorship, does not dictate skill level. You know how you fix this, and it's never going to happen, is just have one class. But that's not going to happen. So as long as you have classes, you're always going to have people that are sandbagging. So it is what it is. It's like I heard this every time that there's a race time event, because Joey has, obviously the NC has, like, if you pay for your chassis, you can't have a chassis sponsor if you're in sportsman, and if you pay for your chassis. Well, who's to say that this guy just, like, I know plenty of people that run sportsmen at the NC that have chassis sponsors. You know what I mean?
Oh, me too. Like,
there are no rules. There are no rules. So when there are no rules, we can't complain about them. So that's how we go.
Yeah, that's the thing. I find this ridiculous well, I can't complain about America, but this is the country where this happens, where there isn't a rule, and then people are like, oh my God, like, for example, like someone posted on Facebook that someone lost the front grille on their truggy, and they said that must be against the rules, that guy must be a black flag from the race. And you go to any race time or Joey race, there isn't a rule book. The rule book just doesn't exist.
Well, Joey does have rules. He does have rules.
Joey does have tech, yes, but race time has no tech at all.
No,
there is just nothing. So, like, I find this a bit hilarious where people are always like, well, the rules state this. What rules? There aren't any rules.
There are no rules.
These races do not have any rules. So what are the rules you are citing? And I find it always, because then they make up rules mid-race or whatever and try to figure out something and make an online argument where there is actually absolutely nothing to argue about, because there are no rules. If you want things to follow some protocol and some rule book, then you need to actually have one. And then we would say this to you, like, you guys need a rule book and you guys need tech. People are like, oh, that's just nothing, or we don't need that. And then the next day they go, oh, this guy is doing illegal stuff. It's not illegal if aren't a rule for it. So like, this is, I every now, like, before I used to be like, what's going on here? But now I just laugh because I see it way too often. Like, every single race this happens. Like, where's like, this guy can't run sportsman, the rules state otherwise, but they're on the rule book. So like, come on, dude.
Well, and this also comes back to not having a proper governing body in America to enforce rules or teach people how to use these rules. So, man.
Oh, but actually in Europe, even at races where there isn't EFRA presence or any EFRA whatever, there is still rules written in the event. Like, the event has its other states, we follow the EFRA technical regulations, or it has some own regulations that they provide. But in America, this just doesn't happen.
And just to clarify, because then people will say that you're bashing on America, just comparing RC racing in Europe to RC racing in America.
I'm not saying that America is bad for it or whatever. I'm just saying that, like, this is what happens in America.
There's no rules. So
my
what can you say?
Personal suggestion is you guys would change it, but I can't control it. You do what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I think standing in line for 45 minutes to practice is silly too. But hey,
if people like it, then don't complain about it.
That's what I say. All right, couple Instagram questions. We'll answer these real quick, then we go on, because we spent too much time on these questions. But this is why we did the questions on a different day, so we can spend time on them.
Yeah, and I like this. I think these are interacting with our viewers, and I think the viewers get some input in the show as well.
Yeah, so please, God, actually, I forgot I have some that people sent me. The thing is, people send me by private message, and I lose them.
Yeah, I mean, so, me too. People have sent me as well. I
especially
forget.
This week, like, my phone hasn't stopped. Obviously, my phone hasn't stopped this week.
Me too. I don't know what it is. Same thing.
So JZ, this is Instagram questions. JRZ179, has Max built or driven his Mayako? What is his thoughts?
Haven't driven. Build is going
drive
forwards. It's snowing. So build is going forwards. Has already pretty much finished. Just took out my servos from my other car to put in here. Maybe do it tomorrow because it's quite late right now. I have the arm car. Car looks super nice. Build was really good actually. Had one slight issue which should be fixed for production. But yeah, it looks amazing. The car looks really cool. I obviously seen Joseph's car, but this is my first own one. I've driven Joseph's car as well, but having my own one and building it, and everything fits together very nice. It's definitely like that's what like before I started the build, everyone told me like it fits like a glove, and I'm like, well, I mean, come on,
you've been through this before.
It can't be that much better. Like I ran JQ for so long, like I know some of the same suppliers are still involved. I'm like, no, like it's so much better. Like almost everything is so much better. Everything fits perfectly, like snaps together. The plastic qualities, like yeah, everything about it is a lot better. There are still some issues to figure out for production, but they will be figured out for production. And yeah, I'm very excited. And yeah. 100%.
Yeah, and you know what? And when you have issues, like okay, so I'm not gonna try and I'm trying not to be biased to Mayako, but when you have issues, you can go into Discord and you can leave an issue report that goes to factory, so they know what's happening. So I'm just saying that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about it. Like running JQ, we had the US Facebook group, and it was okay. There were people talking. Running AE, there were groups. Some information was shared, a lot wasn't. There was some email lists for some team drivers, which were good with setup. But the Discord is something else. It's like any time of day, you just go there, message someone, hey, have you had this issue? How do you do this? How do you put the brake linkage? Did you put the shim here? Hey, have you guys tried this spring? And in like 15 minutes, someone replies what they have done. And like almost every night, people are on their voice call. Sometimes talking shit, sometimes thinking of what to improve with the car, already having new ideas. And yeah, everyone's getting along really well. It's like before I was sort of part of it, I was like, okay, it sounds cool, and I know it probably will work. But now that I'm like actually in part of it and feeling it and getting through all of it, I didn't expect it to be actually this good. So yeah,
I agree
for 2022.
All right,
and so on.
So I have one more question, and then we have a Discord question, and then I think that's it for our questions. Actually, I have two questions. I'm sorry for those who private messaged me. That's just why I always ask people to do this. I know a lot of people don't like it publicly, but I just lose them, like, you know, because my messages just go crazy. We have, when are you going to trim your mustache? That's what somebody asked.
Oh, I won't do it. Same with hair. I'm going full hippie now.
Okay.
I'm going to move
full
to
homeless.
San Francisco and start surfing.
I don't think San Francisco is known for surfing.
Isn't it? I thought it was. Maybe it's the wrong place.
I think it's like SoCal.
SoCal?
It might be surfing there in San Francisco. Might be some
San
sharks.
Francisco is like, I don't know. I know San Francisco is like very hippie though.
Yeah. I don't know much about San Francisco. Never been. All right. So, what did you have the Discord question? How many were there?
Yeah, I just one. It was about, actually, let's do this one because this is pretty quick. It was about the EFRA rule about the upper wing. So for all European drivers who are looking to attend any EFRA event or any national event that uses the EFRA rulebook for that matter, any arms that are, the rule states, paraphrasing here, but pretty close to what it says, any wings attached to the wishbones are prohibited. The only allowed components are front wing, body shell, and rear wing. Okay. So all these guys running your little winglets on your front top arms, those are illegal under F rules. So just heads up, guys.
Yeah, but to touch on those wings, do you actually think they make a difference?
Yeah, I talked about it before in the podcast.
Yeah, you did. I thought
they
so.
definitely make a difference. I personally didn't enjoy those too much because I have an issue where they start to stall the car for me a lot. I can't keep, because I really like to keep the car have the speed in the corner and like sort of roll it a bit. People who drive a lot on power, they can get around it because it pushes the front end in. You can keep it on power and the car still keeps turning. It sort of stalls the car a bit. So yeah, for some people, 100% I think they could work. For me, not so much. And on bumps, for sure, they aren't very good. I really struggled with them on bumps.
Okay. And I had one more question. This is from my good buddy Axel Owen, and it's actually a good question. And he goes, "Is flame out a fancy word for ran out of gas, or because no one really knows what happened?" Yeah, I flamed out. Hey, connector rod sticking to the side of the engine or something like that. Like, you know?
I mean, yeah, it did flame out, but
I don't know. I think I think flame out. I think flame out and tires are the best excuses in RC. The two most used.
I love the tire excuse because that's such an easy one to pull. Like, you don't have to base it on anything. It doesn't have to be like you tested anything. You just say, "I was just slow. It just must be tires." And then that's it. Like that's the lamest excuse you can ever have, because obviously if you're sponsored, then yeah, and if you're the only guy. But generally, this is hilarious because, for example, you remember when Testman ran Jconcepts tires at Neo, Boots finished third with Proline when Testman finished way down the list with Jconcepts. There are so many stuff like this. Like the only time when guys switched tires before the main was Bruno at the Euros and actually won. But even then, he didn't have a tire sponsor. He was just like, he wasn't a factory Hot Race tire driver. He was just like Hot Race wanted to give him free tires, and that's it. He didn't have any contract or anything like that. So yeah, generally the tire excuse is a silly one.
Yeah, I agree. But it does, like, I mean, guys do have better tires. That's why we need spec racing. Sure. Spec racing eliminates all that. Spec tires eliminates all that. But
before I used to be hesitant on spec tires for example, the Finnish National Series, because like for me it was easy. I just run one tire anyway. Like I was sponsored by Jconcepts at that time. Ran blue or green triple E's every single race. And I think to me it was unnecessary, but we have since then switched to control tires. Like I realized, like, if it works in Finland, imagine traveling to a race and you just buy tires there. Seeing RC2 guys just buying tires and running them, so easy. And I have actually proposed something like this for RCGP, the pro class as well. And with this, you can do 2 different compounds. Tire strategy comes into play. You have a limited amount of sets, stuff like this, which could be very interesting for the viewers. Kind of like F1, the tire strategy game, all of that. Obviously not going to happen this year, but for the future, something very cool, in my opinion.
Right. So I did have one more question that I remember somebody sent me in Discord, and this was them asking, do you think having an Astro 8 scale track would help get new people into RC racing?
Depends where you live. If it's a place where it rains, 100%, yeah. But the thing is, you can't tell them, hey, run mini pins or spirals or stuff like that. No one likes. Okay, some people like it, but most people won't like it. When you're running on Astro, you have to run like pin tires, like regular dirt tires. I really like zips. Zips were really fun.
Yeah, but don't some of those guys Dremel on and leave just a single line and all? I've seen Scott do that and other AstroTurf guys in the UK.
Dremeling tires before you even run them, that's not fun for sure. That's gonna turn away drivers. And even if you do that, it's still very high grip to drive, and it doesn't handle very nice. So generally, I run Triple D's, run Impactor and Zips. All of those tires work pretty well on Astro. Some people say it's worse than wet Astro, but okay, it's a bit more slippery. Get over it. But I think more slippery is more fun than like too high grip, because your car is just rolling over. That's my take on it.
Sweet. I think that's all we have. And please, guys who sent me other I just have to get people email me these questions, because I just get, and then I screenshot them, and then it goes in my photos, and then it just gets lost. Like, oh man, people, like, sorry guys, if you had a question and I forgot it this week, send it to me again, please. I apologize. I think
you
that's
need to
it,
save
dude.
them in somewhere. Maybe
I
we
do
need to
save them, but I
on
save so
Google
much
Drive.
stuff on my phone, dude. It's just like my life. Look how messy my room is. Like, imagine what my phone is like.
You are the definition of disorganized.
To an extent, I'm disorganized, but I'm organized in my own way.
True.
I think that's it. Thank you, everybody that sent us questions. We greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys like this new format, so we can give you a little bit more attention to your questions and whatnot. So yeah, keep those questions coming, and we'll try to answer them. We might have some answers for you. Max, I'm going to go on to the main interview with Jackson Brunson, Action Jackson, and we're going to come back because we have a little bit of a rant today, and we're going to do a little bit of ranting. So thank you to Beach RC. Thank you to everybody that supports Beach RC. Remember, we have an affiliate link. It's in the written description of this podcast. If you guys can use that, it helps us out, helps Beach RC out. Thank you to Brent and Lucas and all the guys. And thank you. It's time to go on to the main interview, brought to you by Techno RC.
Techno RC. Techno RC. Techno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.technorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Techno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Techno Takeover.
Joining me this week is a young man that I actually met a few years ago, back in 2018. And I've seen him at many races, watched him improve over the years. And for me, one of the more surprising moves in 2021-22 silly season, when he made the move from Team Associated, where I had seen him there for ever since I knew him, to HB. I've gotten to know him and his friends over the years, and we've had lots of jokes. They even played a mean joke on me at a stoplight one day, but I thought it was police. Remember when we was at AMS and you guys are honking the horn for me to be?
Oh yeah.
I was like, these people like. I was like, should I turn? And then I realized it was you guys, you and AJ. But I'd like to welcome Action Jackson Brunson. I heard Richard Saxton calling you that the whole time at the Nationals. What's up, Action? So welcome to the NNRC, man. How are you?
Doing well.
Yeah,
just,
man.
Kicking it.
Yeah, so 2022, you was involved in silly season this year. You made the move from AE to HB. We're going to talk about that a little later. You've definitely improved on the 8 scale scene in the last 2 years. You've been hitting it hard. You've been making a lot of A mains and stuff like that. So definitely have improved a lot. But I just kind of want to get people to know a little about you. So how old are you, dude? I don't even know how old you are.
I'm 22.
Okay, you're still young. Like, I don't know why I thought you was like 24 or something like that.
Nah, I'm still young. Still got a lot of life left.
So I met you when you was like 18 then, I believe.
Yeah.
All right.
I would say.
So whereabouts in the Southeast are you from?
So I'm in Sharpsburg, Georgia. So I'm like 20 minutes south of Atlanta.
Okay.
So I got a pretty dialed commute to the airport. It's like 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. That's not too bad. Traffic can get horrible in Atlanta, though.
Yeah. Traffic's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But whatever.
All right. So 22 years. Well, I thought you was little, but you've been racing for a while. See, you've been around for a while, too. Racing. So I thought you was a little older than that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I have to ask this. How did I always ask people this. How did you get into this crazy thing that we know as RC racing now? How did it all start for you?
So my dad got me a Slash, which I'm pretty sure that's how everyone is now. But I got a Slash 2014, and I started racing, and then it kind of progressed from there. I got like an SC10.2, B44.2, B4.2. So I had the rear motor two wheel. Like I did race the rear motor two wheel, and then kind of just snowballed from there.
Yeah. Where did you start racing to? So you started at 10 scale, I assume. So where was your first tracks, and where did you used to race there in Georgia?
So it's in Marietta. It's in Atlanta basically, and it was a indoor track called Hot Shots RC.
Okay.
They're no longer around, but the guy that owned it and his kids still race, which is cool. But no, so that was where I'd probably go maybe twice a week.
Right.
Like just when my dad could drive me, because I wasn't I think I was
how old are you?
15.
Okay.
No, I was probably 14, 15. Yeah, so I didn't have my license, so I'd have to wait for my dad to get off work or my mom take me. But so yeah, I'd go 2 times a week and then race on the weekends, and if I school and all that going on. But so I did that for a year, kind of enjoyed it, and then I realized there's some bigger races. Like I did the club race thing for a while, and then feel like there was a big race where like Borkowitz and JR and Paul came up from for, and met them. Kind of, I wouldn't say got in with them, but just kind of enjoyed their company. They enjoyed mine. So they were like, oh, yeah, you need to come down to Super Cup. So that next year I went to Super Cup, and dude, that was it. It was like I kept doing that, and then a snowball effect, man. It was gnarly.
Yeah, in the big scheme of things, you actually kind of got started in RC late. 14 is kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds crazy, but most people we talk to start when they're like 8, 9. So you kind of got started late in this, and that's kind of... Wow, I didn't realize you had been with JC so long as well. You know what I mean? And you brought up Damon Borkowitz. Like I remember hearing his name all the time back in the day, like on RIP and all that type of stuff, and in the and online and whatnot. So I didn't realize you came up like he's about your age or a little younger than you.
I think Damon's a year younger.
Okay,
but yeah, right around the same age group.
All right, so you was hitting the 10 scale Super Cup. That was good. That's a big series in Florida.
Yeah.
With 10 scale and whatnot like there. So how did you make out in the Super Cup? Like when did you start saying, hey, I'm getting pretty good at this, and I want to pursue this even more?
I don't know. Like I know the first race I went to, I was in the B mains for modified, and then we went to the next race and I made the mains. So I was kind of just like, all right, I'm doing pretty decent, keep going down. And then that would kind of, I kept doing them. And I honestly, I didn't get my first win until maybe a year or two after, because there was kind of a period of where, a learning period. Like I started traveling more and figuring more stuff out. And then there was that year I ran stock, so I didn't run modified.
Right. You only ran 1 year of stock?
Yeah. So I didn't really enjoy it. It was kind of like, it was also when I started running 8 scale too. So I was like, oh, I don't really want to run 8 scale and then go run my stock car.
Right.
Because it's slow. So I was like, I just I didn't like stock. It was cool, but it was like, it was also when I left Trinity, then I was like, all right, I'm going to run Reedy, I'm going to run modified and all that stuff. But there's a couple of factors that went into it. So yeah, I basically 2017 I ran stock. 2018 I started running mod more, and then that was when I started getting a couple of Super Cup wins.
Yeah.
So I'd say by then that was when kind of JR and Damon weren't racing as much. I mean, they were still at the track, but it wasn't like they were they were still like, we were all still having close battles, but it just seemed like, as you race more, and you're at the track more, you're just gonna do better. It's
yeah, of course.
Goes.
You've been putting in the work over the last years too. That's the thing about it. You have definitely been putting in a lot of work, a lot of practicing, a lot of racing as well.
Yeah.
So if people want to look at hard work, I have to give you credit for that because you've been racing and practicing a lot. Lots of trips out to California, hanging out with Spencer, going to Arizona, all that type of stuff, which is needed to get better in this industry.
Yeah.
So who were some of your early influences when you got started in this? Who were some of the people? You said Paul and Damon kind of took you under your wings, but who were some of the guys you looked up to?
Yeah, I'd say like at first, like I would say the first person that ever was kind of like, help me out a bunch was definitely Mark Moon. He's still local and he owns Loganville, which is a track I race at.
Yeah.
Him and so him, there's this old man, Carl Knight at the first indoor track. He helped me out a bunch. And then, obviously my mom and dad and my family, they're obviously on the top priority list, but and then from that, JR, there's about a year or so where JR and I would kind of, run together, and Jason Rona, kind of helped me out a bunch. And then, we kind of fast forward to, last couple of years, it's been, me, Spencer, Alex K, Brent, Telke, Richard Saxton, Aiden Horn, all those guys. Lee Setzer, it's just kind of a big group of guys.
Yeah, when I first really met you in 2018, I think it might have been. Did you go to the Raw Regionals when Joseph and I went on to? Yeah. So I got to know you and AJ, but I think I had met you guys before that. I think our first time where I got to meet you was like AMS, and it was you, AJ, Jason Frank, and then Lee was probably the younger of you guys.
Yeah,
I don't
we
even
also
know.
had Brad Nicosia too.
Okay, I don't
I don't
remember
know if you
him.
remember him. Okay, sorry.
I don't even think Lee was racing 8 scale when I met you guys at AMS that year.
No, so I remember he would only run e-buggy.
Yeah.
Like he would only have an e-buggy.
That's the year that, remember when Frank, remember that quad that they had, and Frank flat landed,
ruined his car.
Like his chassis, like the front, he had no front kick up on his chassis, and it was crazy.
I remember he came back and his stuff was all. We made like a Kachow meme out of it.
Yeah, but out of those 4 guys, you and Lee are the ones that are still really into this, because Jason Frank isn't doing it no more. AJ is more, he's focused on the motor side of things with Trinity and stock and drag racing and all that stuff. So he's found his path in his career. I guess my question is, when did you kind of decide to focus primarily on 8 scale? Because that's what it's been for you for the last, you dabbled in some 10 scale over the last few years, but obviously your primary focus has been 8 scale.
There's a couple of things that kind of, switched it up for me, but I would say, I have a couple. I'd say I have one really good 10 scale track, Hobbytown down in Columbus, but it's 2 hours away, so it's not. I'm sure some people have a worse drive to get to tracks, and I'm sure some people wish their track was 2 hours away. But dude, I have 3 8 scale tracks within an hour,
right?
Like even less, and so it's obviously easier to go run 8 scale, and obviously, with Mark owning Loganville, I'm able to go, whenever I want. Like I just, he doesn't. I give him some money, and because I'll stay out there, and use the lights and the electricity. So I give him some cash, and that's how it is with everyone. I don't get special treatment, but it's just, dude, so much more convenient. But other than that, I just enjoy 8 scale. Like I think 10 scale is, honestly, it's not that fun. It's a lot of work, which for the guys that are dominating, it's impressive and respectable. It's so much work, and I didn't want to do it. That's just kind of the transparent, most 100% honest answer. I didn't enjoy it, and I don't make a living doing this, so my decision to not do it's a little easier than some. So that was kind of it. Obviously with like, I was on associate at the time. So, I had to, we had to figure some stuff out for me not to run 10 scale, but that was it. So, I mean, it was all minor stuff, but yeah, just honestly wasn't enjoying it as much as 8 scale.
Yeah. Well, what I think people don't understand how big 8 scale racing is in the Southeast. I mean, on the East Coast period, but in the Southeast, it's huge. I mean, you're in an area where you're in Georgia, so you got North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, all that. Yeah, where you can go to many different tracks and go practice, and there's lots of racing. It's probably going to get about 4 or 5 different races on anywhere in those states on a good weekend. When there's no rain and whatnot. So it's understandable, and Nitro is the glory anyway. So
of course,
but I am going to get your opinion about stock and mod her later on. I just wanted to. I know you mentioned his name, but where is Damon Borkowitz now? He like just out of racing altogether.
So I honestly, we don't have any bad blood or anything. I just we're we're just leading kind of 2 different lives, and but no, I'm pretty sure he does a lot with like crypto.
Okay.
And he's kind of, doing that, enjoying that, and, experiencing that side of life, which I think is awesome. I've dabbled in that stuff a little bit. Me and Spencer have really. Right. That was kind of something we started doing together. But other than that, no, I don't really exactly talk to him a whole lot.
Right.
He'll say, what's up.
Just 2 different hobbies, like, 2 different things.
Yeah, we're just both busy doing our own thing, and, hopefully, when I'm down in Florida, there's a race he gets to go to. But if not, I'll see him when I see him.
He probably made the wise decision. He said, "Yeah, I'm going to make a lot of money and not spend a whole bunch of it on RC." All right, so you have a very close relationship with Spencer. I've even heard you. I was listening to you and his dad go at it at just to. Like the rapport that I think you guys have, you joke around with each other, and you obviously spend a lot of time with Spencer. How did you develop that relationship with him, and how did you guys end up becoming such good friends?
So I met him in 2018 at the Roar Nationals warm up. So that was the warm up for the Southside Nationals that year, and it was kind of just like that. We just kind of clicked, and I wouldn't say we really like talked a whole lot after that. I mean, it was kind of every now and then, but really like at the end of 2018, we both stayed in a hotel at Myrtle Beach. It was kind of like we did the fall brawl, one weekend, and then the INS at Beach RC. So it was just like, we don't really have anything else going on. So we just stayed at the hotel for a week, and, that was kind of how it happened, just hanging out a bunch and enjoying our company. So, yeah, it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were inseparable at one point. You all went to the same races, and I think I guess my question is, how influential and how was that relationship beneficial to your 8 scale program?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I don't know if anyone's out there that thinks that, but it's definitely not. I didn't get to be friends with him because I wanted to be faster, but
right. No, I get that. Not saying that you did it just to be his friend.
No, I know. I just wanted to get that. I just don't want to make it sound like that. But no, I mean, I would say he's a lot of it. I would say he's most of it. Obviously, there's a lot of people in there, but I'd say he's the biggest pie in the chart.
Yeah.
He's just it's just super easy to. Richard's always said that Spencer's a sponge, just soaks up information. And I'd say I'm the same way, just taking everything he says and, kind of like noticing some things that he's doing. And I'm like, I think I can do that, or, maybe do something better. Not all the time, he's a fantastic driver, but he's helped out a bunch. He's definitely been a huge help.
What are some of the things you admire about him that makes him a 2-time world champion and on a level that he's at this point, like that you can see that's in him? Like for me, like JQ, like he's persistent. It's a weakness, it's a strength, and it's a weakness. But his ability to focus on things and see the big picture in the end is something that I admire. So, it's these, I think when you have this, because obviously Spencer has a lot of talent as well. He also has a very good work ethic, it seems, as well. So I think, what was it that you saw in him that probably separates him from other pros or other people at that level?
I would say probably one of his biggest qualities that I've noticed, and I think a lot of people can respect, is his ability to just remain positive even when stuff's going south. And it doesn't even, it doesn't even have to be with RC. That's just how he is. Like, dude, we were playing F1 last night, and we're racing, and he spun out, and Alex K is like, "Oh, dude, you're out of this," and he's like, "No, I got it," and then he ended up getting second or whatever.
Really?
But
persistence.
yeah. He's really goal driven, and that says a lot. And I think that's how he's gotten to be so far in this hobby. I think that's how he's gotten so far in this hobby is, he's super positive about things. I mean, if you keep a level head and you remain, it's harder to be positive than it is negative. A lot of people tend to be negative with it about things because it takes less energy.
Yep.
Everyone does it. I'm guilty myself. But I think remain a positive attitude about everything, and knowing, you're only in control of the things you can control, and remaining a level head is something that he is really good at. And that's kind of propelled him, to be one of the best, if not the best.
Yeah. And still young, and a bright future ahead of him, bright future.
Yeah.
And you, like, all right. So I just wanted to know, like, how he influenced you, and obviously, maybe some of the qualities that you admire in him, and help improve your racing, and maybe just better in life, because you guys are both about the same age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess at the end of the day, you guys are still young men at the end of the day, and like young men things, and still have a life outside of RC. So that's cool. But this leads me to my next question, because I had heard the rumors that you was leaving AE, and I was like, nah. And then I asked you when you said, hey, we can do a podcast next year or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, are you leaving AE? And it's like, I'm still got AE cars. I was like, oh gosh, I know what you're doing. But
yeah.
So I guess this wasn't an easy decision for you, but because it was kind of like, it was like it was you, Spencer, Alex K, Lee, you guys were like the JC associated guys, you're all pitting together, and you're like the first person of that clique to go away. How did this decision come about? I understand that why, because down in your area, like in the South, like HB is big. You got Co Ogden right there. It's a very popular chassis there in your area. But was it this a difficult decision to leave like the nest and fly on your own?
Yeah, it was a hard decision. It's just RC cars, but yeah, it was a pretty, I'd say an emotional, like giving Brent that phone call was probably one of the hardest phone calls I've had to make.
Right.
Yeah, it was, they did a lot for me, and, it's something that goes past just RC, the memories and the friendships and, the goals we accomplished, everything all together. It's something that, there's anyone can really dream about, and, just the adventures I was able to go on with these guys. I mean, gosh, it was really a dream come true.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was hard. But I think, just for my direction of the industry, and, kind of how I wanted, kind of do things, I just feel like there's a change. I mean, I was a little burnt out. I think everyone gets burnt out, at some point. And, so yeah, it was just, again, I don't really do this for a living. So I kind of was just, I kind of want to, try something else. You only live once. So, you live and die with the mistakes you make, or not mistakes. Sorry. The choices you make.
Yep.
Sorry. And, I wanted to, change it up. So I switched it up.
Yeah, but you kind of had been with AE from when you started, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. They were. I mean, they weren't the. I had a Mugen. I had a couple Mugen cars as when I, kind of privateer stuff. But yeah, my first chassis deal or whatnot. I mean, hell, even my first RC car, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this Team Associated.
So I have to ask, how did Spencer take the news? Or like, did you discuss this with him beforehand, or does he understand? Or is it like, you know, it's kind of like when Max went to AE, you know, he was like, I understood why.
Yeah.
You know, because he wanted to try something different and see what it was about. So, you know, it stings a little bit when you're close like that. But what did Spencer think? And I assume you guys are still cool, obviously playing PlayStation and whatnot, as you should be, because at the end of the day, this is RC cars, and you know, we some of us have to take it seriously, and we do.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't cause friendships either.
Yeah. No, you know, he was super cool about things. I think at the beginning, you know, it was, I mean, I'm not super into the social media stuff, so I'm not sure what was floating around, but I'm sure, you know, AMS was my last race, and he knew that. But I think, I talked to Mayfield and all those guys, and they were, you know, there's kind of some buzz around it, you know, at Southern National. So, you know, September, that, you know, it was kind of like, everyone was like, you know, telling me, oh, you know, you're hanging out with Cole a bunch. But it's always, you know, I've always hung out with Cole, and, you know, we've always gone to the track together. But I could kind of see all that stuff. So I think he knew or had a feeling earlier. But I honestly, you know, I told a couple of people, but I didn't tell anyone. You know, it was really only over the phone. But it was kind of just, you know, super close people. And then, you know, I didn't tell him until I told Brent. Aside from the first few people I told, which were really just kind of mentors or, you know, people I, you know, extremely trust. Yeah, you know, my first order of business was call Brent and tell Brent. That was kind of the first thing. And then, you know, when I told Brent, I called Spencer and told him, and he was like, oh, yeah, you know, I've known. And I was like, he was just like, oh, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, you know, it's just kind of a certain amount of respect that I kind of wanted to give Brent, you know, just, you know, wanted him to know and hear from me and not hear from the pits. But, yeah, you know, he's been super, you know, supportive about everything. Obviously there's going to be a little bit of got the morning throat.
Yeah, no worries. Drink some water.
Yeah, there's going to be some, you know, there's probably going to be a little bit of change, you know. I'm not expecting to be, you know, out west with him a whole lot as much as I was. But I mean, I still will, you know, we're still friends. I mean, I don't mind going there just to hang out. It doesn't have to be really about RC cars. But, yeah, you know, he was super supportive about everything. And, yeah, that was really it. I mean, now we all joke about it and stuff. Good. So, yeah, I mean, I think at first it was kind of, I was even kind of curious. I was like, oh, you know, I'm kind of curious what he'd think. But the end of the day, man, it's, you know, it is what it is. And he knows that I'm here for myself and no one else. And I got to make the decision that's best for me. And I think he supports that, or I know he supports that. And, yeah, that's really all you can ask for.
All right. So I guess my next question would be, I understand why you went HB, but how did it come about? Because it was also talks of you going TLR. I mean, you're on our Discord, on the NNRC Discord. We had people examining neck hair, like from the shadow pictures. And then
really?
Oh man, we were geeking right out. Like they're like, look at that neck hair. It's Lutz's neck hair. I said, no, that's Brunson's shape. Well, you know, we was just. And then even you chimed in. I was like, no, that's too skinny to be Brunson. And he was like, what, am I fat? So
I remember that now.
So we was trying to figure it out. And one guy's like, I know Brunson's going HB. I guess why HB? How did that come about?
Well, you know, I mean, I've ran the car before, you know, I test with, you know, I run with Cole a bunch. So, I've also driven his car, you know, that's just kind of what we, you know, you know, at the end of the day, you know, kind of run each other's cars. And I've always enjoyed driving the car, and I've seen how Cole works on the car and just how everything works. And I really enjoyed that stuff. And then I would say, you know, not running 10 scale, was kind of like, I mean, we have, you know, at Hot Bodies, we have a 10 scale program, but it's obviously not up to, you know, the same standards or,
Right.
you know, not everyone runs it. I mean, everyone knows how it is. But so that kind of played in me just wanting to do 8 scale.
Okay.
That was, yeah, I wouldn't say that was really any kind of a factor in my mind, but, you know, just, you know, things work out. That's just how the cookie crumbles. But no, I enjoyed the car. You know, I haven't done much teammate talking. I know, I mean, I'm friends with everyone. Dylan Caldwell, Fee Long and his father, you know, they're super nice. We got some local guys too. And yeah, I just kind of enjoyed the whole environment, enjoyed the cars. I really only ran the nitro buggy. So in the nitro buggy, I think as everyone knows, you know, Ronald Falk had good success with it. Cole obviously has good success. So I was kind of like, at first I was drawn to the nitro car because I was like, oh, you know, it's a pretty damn good nitro car. And, you know, so I've ran the e-buggy and the truggy, and I've gotten those, you know, a couple of days I've ran them. They've been, you know, pretty good. So that's kind of, I'd say, you know, being friends with Cole, you know, that's super good to, you know, we can, you know, run whenever we want and hang out whenever we want. So it's just kind of, that makes it easy.
Yeah, I'm both in Georgia. So yeah.
I'm like 40 minutes away from Cole. So, I mean, it's super, you know, convenient for both of us to, you know, bounce ideas off each other and whatnot.
Yeah, and with Ronald Falk and Adrian out of HB, Cole, I guess, bumps up to that number 1 spot in the HB hierarchy, which is deserved. He's been with HB for some time now. But I mean, HB made some, in my opinion, in America, made some superpower moves. They have a squad. I mean, they got Pavitas, and then they got the Fullers on board. So you have a lot of young talent at different ages coming in right now. And it's going to be like, it's going to be some wars out there this year, man. We got like, you know, you got Techno who's got their squad. You got S-Wax has got a squad now. It's like all the teams have, well, besides AE, I don't know who AE's second Nitro driver is going to be now. Maybe Lee.
I'd say Aiden.
Yeah, Aiden. I mean, sorry, Aiden.
He did pretty, I mean, stellar runs.
Hold on. Actually, AE's got a squad too because they got Rivkin, Aiden, Tallard, and Lee is coming up. You know, so we're looking at about, each team's got about, besides 4 decent guys that can do. So we're looking at a really, really exciting 8 scale year coming up leading to the Worlds. What are some of your goals in your RC career that you're looking to accomplish this year?
Yeah, you know, I mean, definitely, you know, want to obviously just do the best I can every race, and, you know, not, I think, you know, I've been racing more and more now. You kind of learn how everything kind of works and whatnot. So, you know, I'm not going to stress about anything like that, but, you know, some goals that I want to hit. I mean, obviously I want to get to the Worlds. I think that's everyone's goal. So to do good at the Worlds would be awesome. You know, the Nationals main, you know, something I want to be able to be a part of. Been in the semi a bunch, and, you know, just barely missing out on the main, you know, a couple of years. Aside from last year, you know, kind of had a blowout year, but whatever. But no, I mean, yeah, you know, I have some, you know, goals that, you know, honestly, the whole goal thing I kind of keep to myself, and, you know, don't really try to put a whole lot of pressure on there, and just kind of enjoy the ride, and, you know, just see where I end up. I know I, you know, give it 100% every time I'm on the track, and that's just where I end up.
Sweet. So your first race on new rides, like real race, will be SIC. As we're recording this before you go to SIC, so people, this will be released after SIC.
Okay.
So, but that's your first big race on this. What else can we expect at you? So you can do SIC, obviously DNC.
Yeah. So SIC, then the weekend right after is the Nationals warm up at Adobe, and then so DNC. I'll be at all the Race Time Entertainment races. Silver State. the Worlds. I don't know about the Worlds warm up.
Yeah,
not sure how that's all going to work out.
That's going to be an expensive trip, over to Spain twice in 1 year,
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be good to do. I've never really been overseas. We were going to do that, the Neo race, or like the year, I guess it was 2020.
Yeah, I've been
whatever that race is
race.
called.
Yeah,
the DXR race. Yeah, I mean, I sent over entry money and everything and was ready to go, and then all that stuff happened. But no, I think the World's races, and then that kind of brings us to the end of the the end of the 6 months of the year, and you have Wicked Weekend, and you're kind of finishing out the race entertainment races, and then there's just not a whole lot of 8 scale stuff going on towards the end of the year, but we'll make the most of it.
Yeah, for sure. Are you looking forward to getting over to Redavon, to that big ass track they got over there, man?
Yeah. I've talked to Thomas a bunch about it, because he went and did some. That was when he was the Jconcepts media guy, and he did some support with Ronald Falk and covered the event. All our Jconcepts guys over there, Savoya and whatnot. So I'm excited to go there. I haven't honestly looked at the track a whole lot, like just in videos, but as we get closer and closer,
it's huge, dude. Huge.
Yeah, it looks. From what I've seen, it's pretty gnarly, huge, and it looks pretty grippy and kind of dusty.
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it's a European track, but very big, lots of corner speed, and I think they'll make some changes to it. They have to make some changes to it.
Yeah.
So that's good to see. All right. Let's keep it on Georgia. Let's talk about some racing in Georgia. You talked about Loganville. There are a lot of tracks. I mean, I can go back to the Sugar Bowl. I had a buddy that used to race in the Sugar Bowl in Atlanta back in the day. So Georgia has been a staple of RC racing in the East Coast. Tell us a little bit about that. Logan, like you said, Mark Moon's been a big influence on you as well. Is that the track where they have the hey, come up and talk to me stickers? Like, I think it was that, or maybe it was RC3. They had a race, and they had I heard one of those tracks really work hard to getting new people into RC. So it might be.
I don't know if Loganville has those stickers. Yeah. I mean, I do know, the Novice Classic Club races is easily 2 to 3 heats. So really? I mean, I know they push for new drivers.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know if they have those stickers.
So is the racing scene big enough? Not like they had some signs that they put it on maybe you wasn't at this race, so hey, come up and talk to me if you have any questions. So new people, which I thought was a good thing. So I would say that the racing scene is pretty decent there. Like, you got a good bit of, if you're getting 3 heats of novice class, I mean.
Yeah, Loganville, obviously, I mean, on an average weekend, it's over 100 entries. They do really well. The track prep's always good. They always go out a day or two before the event, or, club race or whatever, and, prep the track. I mean, they got a good group of guys. I wish I could say I'm the guy that's out there helping, but, I'm not. And I'm very thankful for the guys that take their time to get the track prep for us racers. But, no, so, Loganville does really well. Mark and Brian Burnett and their group of guys. And then, so Kyle Neary, him.
Yeah, he's got probably the best backyard track I've seen.
Yeah, it's pretty badass. I mean, I've gone there a couple of times, and it's honestly super West Coast. Like, the way his dirt is, it just reminds you of West Coast. And obviously, Westergaard did the layout. So it's, got West Coast jumps. And so we have that, and then we have a new track that just opened up called the Barn.
Yeah, I saw that.
And that's that's 5 minutes away from Kyle's track.
Really?
So I mean, we could honestly run at Kyle's during the day and then go to the Barn at night, because Kyle doesn't have lights yet. So go to the Barn and race under the lights. And honestly, the Barn's probably one of the nicest tracks. They just kind of done everything all at once and at the start. The pits are right under the driver's stand. It's a pretty big driver's stand. It's just super nice. Just kind of the tracks, a good size. just everything about it's nice. They got an air compressor, a hose, wash your tires and whatnot. It's just kind of, everything's nice. You got like, it's almost like a 10 scale pitting kind of situation, like where, we have our own, outlets and stuff. It's just super nice.
Yeah.
So that's.
I was looking at some pictures of it. One of the guys who listens to Scott sent me a link to it, and it looks nice. And then, of course, you have Phil Hurd, which is in Savannah.
That's about 4 hours. So Savannah's about 4 hours away, give or take with traffic. And which is, again, that's a track in itself, super historic. And, I was actually there last week running.
Okay.
But so we have that. We had Augusta RC. I believe they closed. I haven't seen much going on with them. And then obviously, the Carolinas, that, easily in S&B are, only 3 hours away from me.
Okay.
So there's that. And then, obviously Florida.
Yeah.
I'm 4 hours away from Florida. So, pretty much that's a little bit more of a drive, but, there's, at least 5-6 good 8-scale tracks there that I can run at.
You're in the best position to go for 8-scale racing, it seems.
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty fortunate to have as many tracks as I do. I mean, within 10 hours.
Yeah.
Within a days of driving.
All right. Before we're gonna get back on some 10-scale racing here, and then we'll get into a little bit of what you like to do outside of RC. But let's talk about the whole big stock versus mod debate. You ran stock for a year. You said you disliked it. We were talking about this. It was my buddy RC Kevin and Tony Newland. How we kind of just look at stock now as spec mod and or the 250 class of RC.
Yeah.
So we kind of compared it to like Christian Craig, how he went to. This is my outlook on stock now. Like Christian Craig, he's good in 250s. He went up to 450, sucked. Came back down to 250s to be relevant again, and probably going to finish a career in 250s. I think that's kind of the future of stock if you look at it like that. What's your opinions? I think right now, like on the pro side of things, which is the mod side, 10 scale is a little, it's not as big as it used to be. I watched the RC race. There's no Mayfields, there's no Cavs, no Tessmans. The older, this older group of guys that are still fast. What are your thoughts on 10 scale right now? And stock is huge. Stock is the money maker and all that whatnot.
Yeah. So the thing with stock, and I take my opinions with a grain of salt, but what I think is it's a good building block for people to get out and get into and get used to how everything works. Obviously, there's a hand select few that, really stay in it and really, just kind of run the hell out of it, which all the power to them. I mean, again, most of the stock guys are doing it for fun. I mean, really, all of us are, but, they're not, doing it for a living. So, if they want to run stock, for the whole time, go for it. But I think it's, the thing, I just don't like it because it's like Christian Craig or Jeremy Martin in 250s. It's like
Davalos.
Yeah. It's just like, why wouldn't you win a title? It's like, why wouldn't you just go run modified or whatever, 450s or whatever? But yeah, it's obviously it's a huge subject in our industry about what everyone thinks is right and wrong. But I think if you win stock buggy, like the national title,
right,
you're done running modified. That's just kind of how it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, I think in terms of like track layouts, I think more of these 10 scale tracks need to make a track with a big triple in it where modified is the only one that can do it.
Yeah.
Because if not, I mean, we saw at CRC, I mean, I wasn't there, but I kind of checked in on it. But dude, the lap times were super
so close.
Like, I think Tom ended up winning both, and his, like, I want to say his seating time was almost in the same second or something like that. I mean, it was close. So yeah, I think stock should there should be some layouts where stock's not on the same lap, kind of pace.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, the stock motors nowadays, I mean, I run for Trinity now. So I can kind of see
the money is in stock.
Yeah, you can see how much money is in stock, and I mean, all these stock parts. You got all these lightweight BS parts, and I mean, I think stock's good for the industry because it generates a lot of revenue, and that's what helps everyone race.
Stock pays for the modify guys.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But no, I think stock is a little bit drawn out. I think some people really take advantage of it. But at the end of the day, it should be used for just a building block. But with the way things are going, I mean, 17.5 is as fast as a modified motor.
Yeah, like why not just you could probably race your stock on a track like now without any big triple or anything to differentiate. You could probably race a stock car in the modified class.
Yeah, I'd say like the racing. I would say the racing would be a little different just with how everyone races. But I'd say like qualifying, you could easily TQ or be in the main top 3 and with a stock car. I think the qualifying thing would be no brainer. But I think when it comes to racing and you kind of have some spills and whatnot on the track, that's really where a modified motor will you'll be like, okay, that's. Because stock, you got to carry your whole momentum. So once you lose that momentum, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, it's kind of like e-buggy versus nitro. Nitro, it's about corner speed.
Yeah,
carrying that
e-buggy,
speed.
you can kind of grip it and rip it.
Yeah, you can make up for a lot of things. Cool. All right, so you're 22 years old. So RC is everything for you, but I also see you're big into motocross. So you guys ride. Wow, I'm just looking at your socials. What else is Jackson Brunson into besides RC cars?
Yeah, so I mean, I'd say I've always been into motocross, but say the last years when I started really riding. But that's honestly I do that, and I like messing with my truck, just kind of doing all that stuff. Play a little bit of video games. Just kind of the average, kind of life.
Yeah, average 22-year-old life.
Average kind of hobbies,
Yeah.
I don't like going to movies or I don't like going shopping or any, I don't like that stuff. So, yeah, the motocross stuff's been fun. It's definitely something that you kind of get, I've raced a couple of times. You kind of get in the same mindset.
Really?
Where it's you're on the gate and it's just kind of the same, screw these guys, I'm here for myself. But then again, it's also not, you're sitting on a stand. So it's kind of there is some thinking that goes more, I think there's more thought process that goes into motocross and RC, because you are using your body. But dude, it's been so much fun. I've enjoyed that. It's also been really good. I've lost a lot of weight doing it, which is awesome. It's cost me, it's had me, start eating different and, really kind of being more disciplined in that kind of side of things. I've also met some really good friends. Me and the Horns, we've gone and rode. I just got back from Florida a couple of weeks ago. We were down in Florida for about a week. It was me, the Horns, and their buddies, and Spencer Hecker, Tyler Jones. That was an awesome trip. That's something, that was the second time we've done it. We did it at the end of the year. And, that's super fun.
What was the trip, actually? Tell us about it.
So it's, dude, it's crazy. It's kind of a, it's like a movie. It's like a movie trip kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's, we'll start and, at one track and, we'll ride all day and, clean our bikes up or whatever, and then drive to the next track and just kind of find a hotel. We don't really book anything. We just kind of show up.
Sounds like a janky JQ tour across America.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's fun to kind of live like that, just kind of, whatever happens. You don't always live like that. You kind of, I'm more of a planned kind of guy. So
right.
For me, it's awesome. I enjoy that, just kind of different side of things. But yeah, it's it's pretty crazy. I don't know how many more, kind of trips I'll be able to take, just as you get older. But I hope there's a lot more.
Okay. How about in your personal life? Any aspirations, work, school? What are you doing with that type of thing?
Yeah, so I went to college right after high school. I did that for about a year, and I have my own personal opinions on everything about all that, and it just wasn't a good fit. And so I've done some work here and there, with family. I have, a couple of family members down in Florida that own their own businesses that I've helped out with, and I have some things. That's again kind of a goal thing. There's some things in the works that I don't want to kind of count my
chickens
eggs before they hatch. Yeah, chickens before they hatch.
Yeah,
so I have some things in the works, but nothing exactly set in stone yet. But I'm always kind of thinking about where am I going to be at? It's kind of like that Matthew McConaughey, like who's your hero? It's like me in 10 years. I can see myself in the next 5 years. I kind of have a feeling I know where I'll be at, or just hope. So, there's some goals there and whatnot. I don't think I'll always be doing this as serious as I am right now.
Okay.
So that again is, take everything, take risks and enjoy it and, make the most out of every experience you have.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
That's kind of where I'm at.
That's kind of how I live my life. So, taking risks and just taking opportunities when they can. I mean, who knows? We might have you, like HB might be the missing ingredient. We might be talking to you and you be like, "Hey, man, I made the finals. I finished the top 5 at the nationals."
Yeah.
And, we never know how life can do for us. But I mean, I think you're in a good position. New team, great car, lots of support there for you. Cole's super fast with it. The Fullers are going to be fast with it. Pavitas is good. So you got a lot of competition there in the team, and that's just going to raise you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And make
I think that only helps. I think that helps everyone. When everyone's on the team going good, I think that it's kind of, everyone builds off of each other. So I think that's good. Yeah. Obviously, there'll probably be some tension. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yep.
But, that's part of it. I'm excited to learn with these guys and, kind of push each other to be faster.
Yeah, I agree with you. I look forward to it as well. Gaming, you said you're just quick into gaming. What are some of your games? Are you on Xbox, computer, or PS or PlayStation?
Yeah, so I play on PC.
Okay.
I got a bunch of buddies. I mean, we'll play anything. Warzone, F1, me, Tanner, Denny, and Spencer and Alex have been playing PGA, like a golf game. So really everything. MX Bikes, there's a kind of a simulator bike game that me and a couple of buddies play, and everything. Like I've been into gaming since I was young, and I think it's kind of a more adult kind of setup. It's like, you went from Xbox to PlayStation. It's like now you have a computer. It's just kind of funny looking back on everything. But yeah, I play a couple of video games. I say I play almost not every night, but 10 o'clock.
Dude, people are like, my son's big into gaming, dude. I tell him just be good. Like people are making quite a good of money at gaming and streaming and all that stuff. There's so many ways to make money off that stuff nowadays. Yeah. All right. Where is Alex K? In school?
No, so he just finished school. He works for a bearing company that makes bearings for Boeing.
Really?
Yeah, so he's doing really well, and he still is, same person, just not always the funniest guy in the room, and always cracking jokes. So yeah, we enjoy each other. Me, him, and Spencer, really, I'd say we're pretty tight. We always talk and always give each other crap.
Will he be racing again, or
no? I think we're talking about doing this kind of goes back to 10 scale. I think we're going to do a carpet race or a turf race. It's called like the Enfield, Connecticut, the RC Madness. Jconcepts does a race there, and that's close to Alex. I think we're all talking about going to there and, kind of hanging out and having fun.
So he's done racing. Like he's not taking it seriously anymore, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I can't exactly speak for him, but I think, his focus has shifted to more real life, just kind of getting his life going, which I think is awesome. I think everyone can admire that. And he always checks in on us, gives us crap from the for the races and stuff. So yeah, we all still talk.
Awesome, dude. Well, dude, I am excited to see what you do on the HB platform this year. You've been one of the guys that has improved a lot in the last couple of years. And I look forward. You're still young. You still got a good bit of years left in you for racing. And I hope that, in a year's time, we're having a conversation where you're like, yeah, I'm winning some of these races. Or, it's going to be a battle for you at HB, but that's fine. It wasn't like it was a lot of guys on the AE team and you was there as well. So
yeah,
new challenge, new car. And we all know the HB car is good pretty much everywhere. So I look forward to seeing this. And man, I wish you all the best, to be honest. And, I get to come up and talk some crap to you at the races here. And it's just going to be weird not seeing you in the associated pit. It's just going to be so weird.
Yeah, I got a painted body. I was putting on stickers last night, and dude, it was odd just seeing the HB logo, on my paint job. It was, in the green stickers and whatnot. It was looking at my body. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's cool. I love it. It's just, it's different. I'm not gonna. Everyone's been talking. It's like, oh, you're still gonna wear, salmon shorts and stuff, and all that stuff.
Like the AE dress code. That's what we call it.
Yeah. I'm gonna. It's like, well, Associate actually gives everyone a set of salmon shorts.
It seems like it.
Yeah, but no, it'll be a new, challenge in itself. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man, get at it. I think you and Cole are gonna have fun. You got along. And it's gonna be interesting to see. It's gonna be some battles out there. It's gonna be a lot of company manufacturer battles going on this year, and I can't wait for it all to start. All right, Action. Well, before I leave and before you leave, would you like to say thank you to some people here and shout out to some people?
Yeah, first off, I'd like to thank you for having me on this podcast.
Thank you for your time.
You and Kyle Neary, you guys kind of helped set this up.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that. Obviously, I'd like to thank, Hot Bodies Racing, Jconcepts, Marine Modified Engines, Trinity, MKS, Futaba USA, VP Racing Fields, Stick It One Racing, XTR Oils, Absolute Hobbies, Easy Customs Painting, RevTech. Is it new?
Oh, I thought you had it on the screen. I have to write mine on the screen. I did a podcast earlier and I kind of fumbled the ball on my sponsors. And I was telling them I hate that because I think that's something that racers should take, more, consideration, their sponsors. That's a huge thing with me. So, no, I got everyone. I'm good. So. Sweet.
Yeah. Man. But I thank you to those guys. There's some new companies on board. Obviously, HB, MKS Servos, Kenny Johnson and Nick have helped me out a bunch. And then Myrna Modified Motors. That's basically he takes OS engines and does his own work, kind of like Adam.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all been good. And Chad Phillips at Absolute Hobbies has kind of helped me out a lot again with Cole. So, huge thanks to them. And, again, thanks to, Team Associated. I can't say it enough for everything that they've done for me. Brent Helke and Richard Saxton, all those guys at the shop. I honestly wouldn't be there without them. And, Jason Rona, Spencer Rifkin, Alex K, Lee Setzer, Paul Wen, all those guys that have helped out. You really can't take those people for granted. It's good people to have in your corner. So, yeah, thank you. And obviously thanks to, my mom and my dad and my family. They're first and foremost and huge help of what I do and why I do it and what, how I can do it. So yeah, thank you to those people.
Awesome, man. Thank you for your time. And I do wish you the best luck. And get busy, man. You got a good car and, just keep the work ethic. I admire your work ethic. You're practicing and going to the tracks and putting in the work to get better. So that will eventually pay off. So I'll see you here at DNC hopefully soon and come up and talk some crap to you. and all the
Yeah,
HB
well-
and all the HB guys. And yeah, I look forward to following your racing this year as well, man. Good luck.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Cool, dude. You have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on.
Whoa. Things are about to get serious.
It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
Woohoo! We have a rant, but it's not gonna be a rant like you normally think it is today. We're just gonna lay out some things here and talk about it. So welcome to I guess this is the JQSM rant now, because it's now JQ Scale Motorsports, so not JQ Racing. But yeah, welcome to the JQ Racing rant. You notice we changed our background here because we don't want no other sponsors affiliated with this. We don't want to get them in trouble. We don't want to get, even though we're not going to say anything bad on this. I just, this is kind of a touchy subject. So it kind of set the RC interwebs on fire today, or when we're recording this today. So I just looked, it's like 105 comments. I haven't even read all that stuff yet. Anywho, all right. So it's actually, I call this nerd fights. So we're going to talk about nerd fights, and we have two right now. One kind of happened through silly season. Should we touch on that one real quick first? Then we can go into more detail on the HB RCGP thing, because the Jconcepts list thing, I don't know too much about.
Do you actually have the photo of it?
I sent it to you.
I said, yeah.
Oh yeah, but I can't bring it up on my. This is the thing. I don't have it. It's on my phone, not on my computer.
Okay, I'll try to figure this out.
So anyway, nobody can see that, Max. Okay, there we go.
There we go. So there's a list of companies. This is
I have them here. I got them here. So it's all right. So just before the end of the year, I believe Jconcepts sent out this email to their drivers of a list of companies that they can't use these products or can't use these companies' products, right? So it's like 1UP, 175 RC, Aeromax, Avid, J&T. Now that's the one that really confused me. Clinic, who's a sponsor of this podcast. Lunsford, been around for 20 plus years, 30 years. Pilot RC, RC Speed Secrets, Shell, Sticky Kits, T-Works, Wits, Exact RC, etc., etc. I don't really know too much about this, but I do know that Jconcepts has always had this list, right? And I think they never really enforced it, but I think now for 2022 they are. And so this caused a big.
The email specifically stated, competing manufacturer key as of 2022.
Yeah.
So this is a new thing. Now I want to, before we go into before people jump to any conclusions even on here, I sincerely believe, because it states after this list or before this list, if you feel you have a special circumstance or relationship to the below, please email for clarify. So basically, I think what this is they want to make sure which team drivers have because these are competitors for JC. At least
yes.
Avid and JT, they have mostly bearings, which I feel are a bit confusing with Jconcepts. Why would that be a thing? But anyway, I think you sincerely believe this is sort of a thing where Jconcepts wants to sort of limit the amount of competitors, sponsors. But if the drivers have it, they'll allow it, which I think is fine. I think it's good that the drivers they have sort of use their products. And also, I think a key part of this is something that, in my opinion, if I was Jconcepts, which I would do, is that I would sort of ask the drivers what they would need, or see what companies they have affiliated with and what products they use, and then I would try to produce those products. So that's sort of my sort of benefit of the doubt for Jconcepts here. But there is some issues with this as well.
Okay, so I get that. Look, listen. If you're a Jconcepts sponsor, if you're sponsored by Jconcepts, you have tires, bodies, wings, accessories. You know, I get it. You should. I get that. I get that part of this. So actually, the big kerfuffle was with J&T because I didn't really get this either. So I actually talked to Tyler Ron about this because I wanted to find out what happened with this, because I actually forgot to talk about this on the last podcast. I meant to, and I just forgot. So because, you know, I was so excited about other things, I'm sorry, I just forgot. So how I asked him is, you know, I don't know how J&T got on this. Some people said they copied something that JC done or whatever, but I think from him is he says all I think is we have grease and rear wings because they have a rear wing that people use. You know what I mean? But I just, he just said he personally reached out to Jason and wanted to know why he blanketed all the accessory companies instead of actually probably taking a look at different things, because I don't think J&T has much stuff that competes with, with Jconcepts.
I think to me, Avid and JT to me were the weird ones because they have some accessories, probably some that are similar to Jconcepts or compete with them, but aren't J&T mostly bearings, right?
Well, they do servos, bearings. I think they have some carbon fiber stuff. They have wings, you know, all this different type of stuff. But I don't see turnbuckles, or, you know, stuff like that. So I talked to Tony, because his clinic RC, and he was telling me about this because he's, you know, he also had drivers that wanted to run his stuff and all this type of stuff. So I think they can't run this stuff. And so this is how it was put to me. He says, it was put to me, JC drivers can run the products, but they can't be sponsored. They can't sponsor a JC driver. This is what Tyler pretty much broke it down to me. He says, JC drivers can run my products, but I can't sponsor a JC driver and have them promote J&T on their car, shirts, or social media. So it's kind of like, it's weird, man.
I would wish to see sort of these companies finding places where to work together rather than doing this. Or let's on Jconcepts side again, maybe they were letting people just do this and maybe it just got out of hand. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we got to reel this in a little bit. Maybe. Yeah. But I still, for the life of me, I guess they just kind of put everybody under there. And I think in this situation, this is where communication is key, and they should have talked about it and worked it out. And then, you know, everybody can be happy. You know, work out a solution where everybody can be happy, because this industry is so small, and there's so many companies out there doing this now. And you know what? People gonna be like, oh yeah, on the corporate payroll, Lefty. I'm not. I've been to Jconcepts. I see what they have going on there. They have like a staff of 30 people. They have like, I was actually shocked at the biggest production that they have. And they have to pay these people. So I get it where they have to make decisions to benefit their business. And if you kind of are sponsored by them, then it's kind of, you know, like, I get, it's so weird, man. But
the biggest thing to me about this is Avid and JD have bearings and sort of special bearings, like ceramic ones and stuff like that. Like, you can't be sponsored by them. Same thing with Lunsford or T-Works. They only like
they do titanium, but they do titanium.
But titanium screws. Does Jconcepts have screws?
No,
I don't think they do. So you can't have a screw sponsor, screw company sponsor, nor a bearing company sponsor if you're on Jconcepts. Now, like, where are you getting those? You have to buy them with your own money. Like, I don't really get.
It has to be some. It has. You know how this could be monitored better by being. I think this. You know, you have to just be more cognizant of your drivers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what they're running, and just
exactly.
And just try to say, hey, look, all right, guys. So, hey, you can run for this company, but I didn't realize how big the accessory part of this business is. Like it's probably the money maker part of this business. You know what I mean?
They do make a lot, like accessories make a lot of money.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
So communication is key, because we're going to talk about this communication in our next little bit of the rant. But I had to bring this up because I forgot to talk about it. And I know the J&T guys were pissed off, and a lot of them like left Jconcepts and, you know, all that type of stuff. And
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like someone like Matthew Gonzalez, I think he's a JC guy.
Right,
like
and he runs for One Up. I'm confused.
Yeah, his biggest sponsor is One Up. So is he gonna have a tire sponsor of Jconcepts and just abandoning everything else he has? Probably not. Probably JC will make an excuse for him. But imagine there were a few other like him. Like,
yes,
this is the part I'm sort of confused about. Like, what is the goal here with Jconcepts?
Yeah, so if anybody knows, like, I understand why they did this. Don't get me wrong; they have to make money and all this stuff. I understand that part, but also I saw that One Up is a sponsor of the Jconcepts, like their indoor races too this year. So
yeah.
It can't be all bad. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't know.
If I was One Up, I would definitely be pissed to be included on that list.
I guess it didn't affect them too much. So
maybe, but most likely they have hashed something out. Most likely. But if I was a company who especially sponsors Jconcepts events, if I was a company who sponsors a lot of drivers who drive Jconcepts, I would be definitely upset that Jconcepts encourages drivers to drop me as a sponsor. That driver I perhaps want to sponsor. So this is I wouldn't be surprised to find those companies being mad. I believe there is more to the story than just this list. I believe Jconcepts has talked to some of them, but apparently not all of them.
So I don't know. Like I said, this popped up on my radar, but I didn't know the full details of it, and I kind of understand JC's side of it, and I definitely understand the other company's side of it. So I'm like, you know, the bottom line is we're still all fighting over such a small pie. So measures like this have to happen. That's the real issue with this. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to.
I'm not necessarily mad at the thing, like saying, okay, you can't run this and this and this, but I think the size of the list and like clarify, like you can't even be sponsored by T-Works and run their screws. Like, come on. Like that's to me a silly part.
We probably got something wrong here. So if anybody knows a little bit more, just shoot me a message.
I'd wish to hear what the purpose of this is. Is it just to be like, hey, please disclose it, or you can't run it? Like which one is it? You know?
Yeah.
Because if it's just disclose, then I'm fine with it. I think that's fine. I think that should be like that. Yeah, but if it's like you can't run this, and if you do, you can't run the stickers, then not a fan. I don't like that type of. I don't like the industry to be that way.
Well, then I mean, it's kind of like, but there's we can also go back to RCGP about this when the decal thing, but it's
but I think that is very different, because there are companies who pay thousands of money to attend it and get exposure, and then why would you allow companies who pay none of it to get exposure?
That's different.
That's a very different situation, in my opinion, because this is just competition with JC and the other companies.
Right.
But RCGP is paying for something else, and then you get it for free. Like, let's imagine Robert ran Mugen stickers on his card, RCGP. Mugen would get the exposure for free. And the other company, BHRC, would pay a lot of money to get the team out there. So, I don't think that's acceptable. Because, if you pay, you should get the promotion for it.
This is a great segue into the next topic here that's burning on the internet anyway. So last night, I'm chilling out. You know, it's been a stressful few days here. And then I get like this message like, oh, look at this. I'm like, what's this? And I was just like, because because I've known about this for about a month since it started. Let's put it that way. So we have the now infamous Chad Phillips, who is the USA national manager of and works for HB and like works for Absolute Hobbies and all that type of stuff. So this must be on an HB group. I am not in any HB groups or anything like that. So I didn't take the screenshot. I had about 10 different people send this to me last night, and then more people today when we're recording this. So we have the infamous post from Chad Phillips. Should we show it or should we just read it?
Yeah. Put it up so people
I can't put it up because the camera's too far away.
But can you? Okay, let's.
Maybe.
But don't you have it on your computer? You could just put it on the.
I don't think so.
So here's.
I didn't come that prepared. Well, I think everybody's seen this, so let's just read it.
Okay. Yeah, I can't focus, but yeah, just go to the NNRC. I don't think it's Keenan's Facebook.
I didn't post it on the NNRC. I never posted it. I never posted it.
Yeah, but
somebody else posted it. I just said let the nerd fights begin, and it just went from there. So I never posted this, but I'll read it so people know. And if you haven't, it's probably you've probably seen. Everybody's seen this by now, so it doesn't really make a difference. So this is like to the HB Racing team. He goes, okay, first he's like congratulating everybody and telling what people to run at DNC. And third, we at HB Racing are not promoting any event RCGP puts on. He says Tyler Braun can confirm. Tyler Braun doesn't really have much to do with this. We went through hell and back to achieve HB Racing property. I do not want any driver attending their events. So that last statement is what really kind of just tweaked my...
Yeah. That's
me.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna lay this out for you guys, and then we're gonna give you your opinion. So Max, in short, this is all over the HB RCGP tents, banners, mostly about the tents, but it's not about the 3 million banners that got made, the flags and all that type of stuff. So this is about this stuff. So, all right. We have to start this from the beginning. It's still unclear the ownership of these properties. Some teams like S-Works and all that there understand that it belongs to RCGP, right? Because let's get
every other team apart from HB.
Right. So let's get this straight. RCGP. We all know that these companies pay $5,000 to be a part of this, right? Yeah. To be a part of this, their entry fees, their entries for each driver, all that type of stuff. 2 drivers, each race. It's 2 races. What was it? 2 races per. It's like it was like an entry fee that they paid for this, right?
Yeah, $5,000 per team. You get 8 races, 2 drivers per team, and 4 events over.
And video coverage, promotion, and all that stuff. So RCGP.
All you have to do is show up, pretty much.
Right. That's the truth too. So explain it a little different. Obviously. Excuse me.
Yeah, I was.
You know this from the inception, so you're better explaining it.
Yeah. So pretty much what happened was the first event was in Manila, so there was a lot of preparation going on. So RCGP bought a tent for each team of their branding, their style, whatever. They
plus flags. Plus banners, tablecloths, banners, all the promotional shit was paid for. RCGP got all that done.
RCGP paid for, delivered to Manila, set up, put tables, everything up. Every single race we went to, all the teams had to do just to show up. So RCGP does provide all of this to the teams, paid everything. All they have to do is show up with their equipment and start the race. And this is paid for by RCGP, and the thing is that the issue here is that there isn't a contract that states that this is RCGP's property, but there either isn't a contract that states that this is the team's property. And by the general understanding that RCGP bought this stuff, not regular people generally understand that if you buy something, that's your property.
Right. That's and just to clarify why why is because it was explained to me is that basically they wanted this stuff to be in good condition at each race because it's going to be on videos. It's, they didn't want, so it's, whoa, what was that noise? So it's not like, hey, we're going to do separate banners and tents for each run. No, this stuff had to get shipped to Manila, shipped to Europe after that, around Europe, then shipped to America, right? And I would tell you this because I helped put all this stuff up in America with you.
Well, tell me about it. I was the one putting this stuff onto pallets in the Manila. I was the one taking this stuff out of the car in Austria and setting these tents up with the RCGP crew because we were always there prior to the event before any of the other teams showed up. And every single event we put these tents up, teams showed up, started doing their shit. And that's how it should be. RCGP wants to
promised that, and that's what they gave them.
Yeah, they promised this. They want to make it look professional. They produce professional tents for these teams to pit in, and that's how it goes. That's how it works. And then comes the American rounds. There were teams who asked RCGP, I believe S-Works was one of them, to have the tent for loan. So they had a few races, they needed a tent in. So they asked, can we borrow the tent for this race? And RCGP said, yes, you can, and you have to return it. And that's exactly what they did.
Well, they still have the tent, by the way. They still have it. S-Works still has the tent.
Okay, but anyway, there's an agreement between RCGP and S-Works that these tents they are loaning these tents from RCGP as their RCGP's property. And this is sort of the understanding of what's happening here. So now comes the situation where HB Racing officially hasn't released anything, but have, since the leaving of Edge and Bertin and David Ronafalk, who were pretty much the soul of the RCGP team, HB is leaving RCGP now. And since then, the current HP team manager, Chad Phillips, he was under the idea that these were property of HP Racing, which in fact, by any, this is a misunderstanding by him, but pretty much anyone else doesn't think this is the case in RCGP. And the issue here is that he contacted David, who is in charge of RCGP and property, obviously, as well.
Oh, no, let's go back. I'll tell you how to start. We forgot something. So the last RCGP race was 2019, right? We tore all that stuff down. You, me, Mike Hill, Joseph. I remember lugging those heavy-ass tents all the way from up on that field down to the below because we stacked them all down there. We did all that. Everybody just went home. We had to do that all the next day. That's fine. I'm cool. That's what I was there for. So these tents have been in storage. All that stuff's been in storage since Joseph left. Because remember, then 2020 came. We did DNC. That's when S-Works got their tent. Then obviously JQ used the tent at DNC, and then obviously, it was all a go to do RCGP. No, we didn't do 2020. They skipped the year 2020, and then they were going to go do 2021. But all that stuff had to be stored because JQ had to leave. COVID was hitting, and he had to get back to Finland. So all that stuff was stored at Westergaard's house, right? Paid monthly. They were paying him monthly to store that, plus all the other RCGP stuff, plus because all the stuff was in the van. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All this stuff was loaded up in the van because we just didn't have anywhere to put it. You know what I mean? So this for 2 years, David has been paying storage on this stuff. Now that includes everybody else's stuff, and he did it in good faith. Obviously they thought HB was going to continue on. Now fast forward a little bit. This hasn't been a problem. I even think that there was an issue because the HP guys took the tent for DNC 2021 without David Isherwood's permission. And he was a little bit upset because he's like, I'm responsible for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, you guys didn't ask me. Nobody asked me. What if this would have went missing or got stolen or something like that? I wouldn't known anything about it. I understand that point because it was in his care. In RCGP, he was paying for care.
To be fair, there were situations where we allowed the teams to assemble some parts themselves, or actually disassemble some parts themselves. And a lot of times parts were missing. So we had to go look from in the fields. And that's when it was just chilly, because that's why RCGP does that to themselves. And that's why it was a very big thing to have the agreement between, for example, S-Works and RCGP to take good care of the tent and equipment that was provided, because that's RCGP's property.
Exactly. So I just want to lay everything out here clear for people to understand, right? Because I don't want to be coming off as biased, because obviously I love RCGP. I'm well connected to RCGP. I have nothing against HB, by the way. Just like comments like this. So lo and behold, fast forward, we're now back. Just, David Rutherford makes the announcement he's leaving HB. Now, David Rutherford and Adrian Bartine were the main contact for Isherwood to get in contact with. Obviously they were the big proponents of this. So now David's scrambling around. He's trying to get in contact with Neidhart. He doesn't have his email. He's trying to do different things, get in contact with him. No, can't get in hold of. Nobody gets in contact with him, right? Fast forward a little bit. David Rutherford announces that he's going to Mayako. All right, great. That's awesome. We know all about that. That's when this starts. So this starts with and look, I'm just saying because it started with him, but he's pretty much innocent. Tyler Braun was supposed to go collect, Neidhart or somebody said, hey, go collect these tents, right? So Tyler messaged David, hey, we'd like to get our tents and blah, 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 and David said, okay, I'm sorry, but I don't really know who you are, because David doesn't really know who all these guys are. Isherwood I'm talking about, just so we know. When I'm saying David from now on, it's Isherwood. So it's like, hey, how about let's have a phone call so we can, and the thing was, we're not leaving. This is, I think that was said, we're not leaving RCGP. We just want to use the tents. So then, that just opened. And David said, hey, I'd like to have a phone call as well with you guys, because I've been trying to get in contact with people from HB and find out what's going on and blah, 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 la, 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 la. So then this just started this ball rolling. Then Neidhart emails David and says, oh, you can't use HB's logo and nothing. We are not a part of RCGP, blah, 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 da, 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 da. Give us our shit and go, give us our stuff and we'll go on our way. And David says, okay, no problem. Sorry to hear that you're not going to be doing RCGP, but there's a little fee that has to be paid for the storage of your stuff for the last 2 years, right?
And
so this is where kind of
And keep in mind, the stuff that has been bought and kept taken care of by RCGP and is in fact RCGP property. So David's giving this out just as a good person, just as being nice.
Saying, he said,
okay, you can have it. It's fine for me,
So look, I'm telling you, this is what happened. And I was like, and I remember when David told me about this, I was like, David, just forget the storage, just let them have it. Easy is better than hard. I remember telling that to him. I said, this isn't about RCGP and HB. It's about something else, right? I told him that. So anyway, if push comes to shove, it got so deep. So David's like, hey, look, I don't want to email people anymore. I want to talk. Can somebody, here's my telephone number. What's your telephone number? Let's have a conversation. Let's talk this out by men. Nope. Chad Phillips doesn't want to do that. He wants everything on email, which is understandable. But all of this could have been solved with a phone call. So anyway, this got so bad. Greg had to go over to Westergaard's, get all this stuff shipped because the van was, didn't work. So all this stuff had to get shipped to LA, right? And then they rented a storage unit in LA to put all this stuff, plus all this stuff that was in the van. So all of HB stuff, all of the SRAC stuff, Infinity, all that stuff was all in a storage unit paid for by RCGP for the last few months, right? Because when Greg bought the van from Westergaard moved or something like that. I don't know. So that's been, all taken. So then they found out that Greg had this, right? Greg Degani. And then we have Absolute Hobbies, because Greg was reading me the emails. He's like, dude, Absolute Hobbies is threatening me and all this type of stuff. He's like, Greg, you need to know which side you're going to be on and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, this is really crazy. These people are going ballistic over some tents and banners. Now, I just want people to know something also. When JQ Racing sponsored DNC in 2020, we had to get 55 banners made of various different sizes. And you guess who paid for it? It wasn't Joey who paid for that stuff. It was JQ Racing. So just so you know, when you sponsor races, you don't really get all these banners. You have to provide this stuff. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
So like
common sense.
so we're talking about like a lot of banners. We're talking about a lot like flags, a 20 by 10 tent with full wall, all this type of stuff. The bottom line is HB. So Chad, I've seen the emails where Chad's saying, I will destroy RCGP and I will tell nobody to work with RCGP from now on and blah, blah, blah. And you know, this is like David's like, I just want to have a phone call with these people. Like, and I just want to get like $275 for storage or $300 for storage for 2 years of storage. And he goes, now it's become like they just got pressed. So all communication just broke down, right? I believe HB has all this stuff now. They have the tents, they have the banners, all this stuff because they went and picked it up, I believe, this past Saturday. But Chad Phillips decides to make this post and tell, this is where it gets me. You're telling you're paying. Now you can tell Cole Ogden, you can tell all these guys get 100%. They can't do RCGP anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can't do it anyway. They can't do RC2. They can't do RCGP. But to tell your paying customers who pay, because even though these guys might be 50 off, they pay where they can and cannot race. So there's two sides to each story. Well, guess what, guys? I've seen both sides. I've seen Chad's responses. I've seen Isherwood's responses. I seen this little nerd fight that was going on, like between grown-ass men. And in the end, these people still got their stuff, right? They got all this stuff. And then Chad makes that post. But the problem is, he thought it was never going to get out. Well, I weren't in there. Some people, it got out. And it's caused quite this stir right now. So this, for me, this isn't about HB guys and all this, because I have lots of friends that are HB guys and all this. So it ain't nothing to do with that. For me, I just think this could have all been settled with a simple phone call way earlier. But you know what? The real reason all this happened, Max, the real reason all this happened, it has nothing to do with tents and RCGP. This is all, in my opinion, retaliation because Neidhart, Phillips, and all these guys feel that Mayako stole David Ronnefalk and Adrian Bartine. And that's not the case. Not the case at all. Because it's so funny. 2 years, you ain't worried about your tents and all this stuff. I get it. You're not going to... After Ronnefalk joins Mayako, you change your whole tune. I get it. You're upset. You know? You're upset. You just lost your star. You're world champion. I get that. You know? These are the guys who made your team great, in my opinion, in the last, 7 years.
Yeah.
I get this. But Mayako didn't steal them. They were leaving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were leaving.
Yeah. That's the crazy part about me, that the situation at HB went into it's something that made David leave 1 year before his contract ran out. He was supposed to run for 1 more year, but the situation inside HB, they were fired of people inside HB who were really influential and have been working for a long, long time with David and Adrian. They were fired, and that's why ended up this whole mess happening. And now it's somehow this all is being attacked into RCGP from HB.
Well,
I'll give the benefit of the doubt of the fact that maybe they had a misunderstanding of it. Granted, none of the other teams had this misunderstanding, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt, and I will give them that they thought that this was the property of them. They have it now. They have everything. They have all the banners, all the tents, all the flags, everything.
They didn't have to pay for storage.
They didn't have to pay for storage for 2 years. They have everything they ever wanted from this stuff. That they got close to $1,000 worth of equipment for free.
No, more than that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you count the banners and everything, yeah, probably more than $1,000 worth of equipment from RCGP for free. They got it now. They have everything. Everything should be settled now. There should be no issues. And he makes a post like this.
Well, because it's about who's got the biggest RC dick.
Yeah,
and that's what Chad Phillips comes out. So here's my opinion. I've never met this guy. Never met. I probably stood right next to him, and I don't know who he is. Right. So if you ever see me at a race, Chad, please come up and say hello. The thing is that, and also I want to reiterate, you reached out to Chad Phillips. I reached out to Chad Phillips.
And I didn't just reach out. I sent him a message saying, hey, we're doing a podcast talking about this issue. I'd like to hear from you. Read it, no response. I said, hey, dude, like, I just want to like get your side of the story. I want to make stuff clear. If there is something that was unclear that David didn't tell me or you didn't find out somehow. Again, read, no response. Then I said, I can see that you have read this and you haven't responded. And after
You're pretty vicious.
After that, I saw him typing. I saw the 3 dots. He was typing. And he just didn't finish it, I guess. And then I said, dude, I saw you were typing. I don't know what's your deal. And I let it at that.
I reached out to him and said, look, you probably don't know who I am, but we're doing the podcast and we're going to talk about this. And I just want to get your side because I wanted to hear their side of things, but they never answered.
I did too.
They never answered.
I do believe there is something that sort of made them believe that this was the way it's supposed to go, because you don't get that mad over nothing. I don't believe so. I would hope so, at least.
Well, I think this is why Isherwood wanted to have the phone call, so they can explain, like, this is what's going to happen. This is how it worked. But this is just coming down to, look, at the end of the day, this is how I look at it. And I could be wrong, but I don't
grown-ass man acting like fucking kids.
Yes, there is. But this is common in RC. I think this is, we act like kids too. So I'm a grown-ass man.
Yeah, but we don't.
Yeah, we have our moments. We have our moments.
Not like this though.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't tell an entire team that the people, customers that pay. So here's my thing. This isn't about RCGP and the tents. It's become about that. This is the scapegoat. My thing is they weren't going after David, they weren't going after Adrian, and they weren't going after JQ because they know like JQ would have just JQ, he beats a dead horse till it's dead, buried, and it's turned into dust. But they could go after something that JQ was involved in and David was involved in and Adrian, and that is RCGP. And they went after Isherwood, and Isherwood isn't like us. Like Isherwood does this because the amount of money Isherwood spent on RCGP is insane. Number one.
I'd say I don't think there exists another person who has put as much money into RC in a long time.
And took so much criticism and all this type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what it is,
the amount of work, like you would have to see this guy during an RCGP weekend or the month prior. This guy works night and day on this. This is his passion. This is his hobby. This is what he puts pretty much all of his money on that he has. And like this is the stuff he has to deal with. Like people who message him about fucking tents. And like that's why he's so easy to let go, because this isn't the big picture. He sees the big picture, and that's something that that's why like he always lets go of these situations, and he is the bigger person. But I'm a bit tired of seeing this go down again and again. People just take advantage of this for their own greed and stuff. And now this is sort of the pinnacle of it, of forcing your drivers to not attend an event which is actually doing a lot of good in RC and is actually one of the biggest events on the East Coast in the year.
Look, well, not biggest, but one of the most anticipated. Hey, look at it.
Biggest in terms of attention.
HB won RC2 in USA. They won RC2 in Europe, I believe, too. Like Hampus won, I think, one round.
In Manila as well.
Right? So HB got a lot of promotion from this as well. They got a lot of promotion. They got videos, all this type of stuff. So my point is, at the end of the day, man, we live in this world where everything's text and email, and so much stuff gets lost in translation as well. Sorry, there's a loud mic out there revving up. All of this stuff, all of this mess could have been handled with just a phone call. But what it comes in, it's when you start coming in all aggro. And I saw the aggro from the start because I'm seeing all the emails now, right? I'm seeing them, right? I see the aggro. It's all, and for me, it's nothing to do with RCGP and all to do with Mayako going to, David Rutherford going to Mayako. And this is their way of kind of getting back. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because a lot of HB drivers were looking forward to seeing Cole Ogden and whoever else was going to be driving this. And I understand that. I understand that they don't want to be a part of that no more. That's fine. That's fine. You don't want to be a part of RCGP. That's fine. You know what I mean? You just say, hey, we're not going to have an RCGP team. Good luck to everybody that goes to these races. But because David didn't bow down to Chad Phillips and his great presence that he thinks he has or whatever, because I'm not going to lie, I don't know who the guy is. I've not heard many good things about him, but there are probably people that are going to say bad things about me too. But to do that, even though after you got all of that stuff, you was a dick and made that comment. The thing is, he didn't expect it to get out, but it did. So this
the
is
thing is,
and
he should have quit while he was in winning. You know, that's the thing here also.
Because
he should have quit when he got all the stuff. And
I also wanted to address something. It's just silly. Like, it's silly. And what this does is just create, like, that takes HB, like, got benefits off of RCGP. And RCGP had benefits of having HB there. You know what I mean? They were all for this, but because you got butthurt because DR went to Mayako, because at the end of the day, nobody really wants to admit that this is the real issue, but I will, because I know this is, and I knew this was coming. As soon as I heard that they were making off about this tent, I said, Ishua, this has nothing to do with you and RCGP. It has everything to do with Mayako. Everything, and because they could bully David, and that's what they done. So all these guys, I guarantee you, all the people who now listen to this, they'll be like, that's bullshit, and you guys just being biased. No, I'm laying out everything. I saw the emails. I'm not going to show you the emails. I saw the emails. I saw where the aggression came from, and David wasn't the aggressive one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I have never seen David be the aggressive one, to be honest. Like, the issue is, like, people ask us to be unbiased, and the thing is, like, when you know the situation on both sides, it's hard not to be on David's side on this, because they threatened him with legal action, with whatever.
Oh yeah, they got threatened. Well, that, come to speak of it, now I'm probably gonna get a cease and desist now too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, but I don't think that's fair, because we gave him a shot. I said to him straight up, like, I would like to save your name here, because if we just say what we know right now, it will look bad for him, because, like, I don't have anything to defend him except for the fact that he had an idea of the property of the tents. That's all I had. But that doesn't grant the aggression, that doesn't grant the threats, and that necessarily doesn't grant for sure doesn't grant the Facebook message right now, because he has everything he wanted.
I agree with you, man. And all of this could be, you know what, communication is key. Exactly. Communicate with people. Things get lost in translation on emails and all this type of stuff. Exactly. And I get it. You want records, but this could have been handled with just a simple phone call. But it wasn't about that. It was about, oh, I am Chad Phillips. I will do what I want. That's how I look at it. And that kind of matches the description that I've heard about this guy. So no, he probably hates me.
But I hope, and but that's I hope fine. Actually, I want to be sort of, because I know some people will send this to Chad. I don't know if he will listen to this far, but if he is listening to this right now, I want to say to him that if he comes out, says I'm sorry, I'll be fine. That, to me, that's enough. Say that, okay, that was uncalled for. Situation should be fine. Like, that's fine for me. Like, just admit that this situation wasn't handled perfectly on your part. And that's it. That's me. Like, that's, you see, they post, me, you know?
Oh yeah, they getting our property back. Like, nobody held this. Like, dude, these people, like, these guys looked after your shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and
how many
and
people?
The fact is, like, like, to me,
you didn't worry about this tent for 2 years.
Yeah.
You didn't worry about this tent for 2 years. So now all of a sudden it's a big deal. Come on, we know what it's all about. And you know what? I hope that the HB drivers that want to attend RC, I hope, and I am rooting for I want an HB driver to win RC2 so bad now, right?
Yeah.
And I hope
if you're an HB driver, please sign up to RC2 in SMB.
Because that opens.
Entries open up tomorrow and Thursday. Oh, actually, it would be yesterday with this. But actually, the entry with the new entry system, it doesn't matter which time you just entry, and you will be put on the list. And I'm not sure how the system works, but it doesn't matter which time you entry. So by the time, if you listen to this podcast, you're on the East Coast, it will be SMB South Carolina in March. I think it's 28th March, the last weekend of March.
Yeah,
will be the RCGP event. So especially if you're an HB driver, please sign up.
Yeah, I don't think and where does a team manager come off telling what races his paying customers can?
I think like the HB team driver should be the most annoyed.
I would be pissed off at this.
Like this guy acts like a dictator in this. That's a bit uncalled for.
Yeah,
that's
you know what?
Too much for me.
You know what? I don't really get any response from Chad, which is fine. But
I'm fine with
I
that.
hope
I don't expect, but I don't have any hard feelings. Like I don't really care because I don't know the guy. Like I don't know him either. I couldn't care less. But I wish that like people who maybe in the future have a similar situation know to not act like this, because this is not what we want in this industry. We want people to work together. Just have the phone call if you have any beef, settle it out, and things will be fine. And I think
this could have been handled so easy, so much better.
Especially these should be grown men. These are adults. Like why do you act like this? This is
because this is RC.
Come on.
This, you know what this is? Yeah. This to me is the old guard. This is the old guard mentality. Oh yeah, we don't like what you done. I'm 100%. Taking my because there is a group of old guard in RC that held on to this and they don't want to let it go. And they're like, oh, so yeah, you don't respond to my threats. Fuck you. I'm taking my ball and I'm going over her. But the only person that they're hurting is the racers because they want to do this. And if a HB person wins RC2, do you not think that HB is gonna use that for promotional advertising?
Yeah.
Oh, you bet your
like,
boots.
come on.
And you know what? I want to reiterate to all my HB friends out there and people that listen to this. I have no issue with any of you guys or any of this stuff. We're just trying to shed light on how this situation came about. Yes, obviously, we're kind of like on RCGP's side because that's our friend too. I understand there's HB guys who are going to be on Chad's side, but I literally saw the emails. Like, you know what I mean? I see where the aggro came from. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, yeah, it didn't go down like that. And I hope that you guys don't let a company that you pay money for, like you pay, like that would be like trying to tell that, like me telling JQ drivers, like when I was there, hey, don't go to DNC or don't go to PMB or any like shit. I would get shit. I would get, so thrown under the bus and all that type of stuff. But this is the thing, like you just like egos, leave the egos. We all have egos. We're men. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This could have been easily settled by leaving those egos right there, getting on the phone and saying, hey, so what's up, man? Let's talk. Let's figure out something. No, aggro, swinging big RC dicks around to show that you got power and you're a bully. And that's it. And at the end of the day, you don't see RCGP responding to any of this. They're like, hey, sign-ups are open. That's open. Because Ishmael wanted to come on the pod, right? And I was like, no. Because if you come, Chad Phillips has to come, and he's not going to come. So, you know what I mean? He won't even answer us. I guess we're below him. We don't have to answer him. He don't have to answer us. So,
I wouldn't go there. But I hope he understands something. That's all I hope. Because at the end of the day, life is too short to be bitter about stuff. And I think that's the thing. Like I'm not here bashing on anything. I sincerely hope people don't switch away from HV because of this.
Yeah. I don't want people to do that. It's a great car.
I think the brand has good value. I think the car is great, and this is an event by this guy, and all I hope is he realizes what happened, what went wrong. David for sure has realized that he has to be much more careful at declaring the contract of the equipment and all that. And he has definitely learned from this how to handle situations like this, because I've talked about this from him, and he has seemed sincerely like he has learned something from this. And I hope Chad does too. And I think at least some form of acknowledgement or apology is definitely granted after all that has happened since.
Yeah, because they have nothing was held ransom. People were paying money to keep this stuff that isn't even really yours in good condition. Anyway, we beat that dead horse enough. We beat that horse to death. I know people are probably gonna like this, but that's fine. I mean, this is just kind of how it is.
The worst thing a 21-year-old can say is for a grown-up to say "grow up," and that's what's happening here. So I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this probably.
No, I'm probably gonna Jeff.
You too, but I mean, people will like you because you're a likable guy. But I'm an arrogant 21-year-old telling people to grow up. So that's something that like makes me want to be even more aggressive. But I think I'll choose the path of peace and prosperity.
I just don't like. I don't like when people do this type of stuff and then, like, I just don't like the aggro. There's no need to be aggro right off the bat, like to people and like trying to be like, hey, I'm this person. Like, just do what I say. I don't like that. Like, I don't like that at all. And that's the feeling I get. That's the feeling I got.
Put your ego aside.
Yeah. Anyway, I have to, you know what? It's getting late. I got to go pick up my son. Max, thank you for your time. Go get some sleep. Go get a haircut. Stop looking like a hobo.
Never.
If you guys have anything to add to what we said, that's fine. Maybe we said something you didn't like. I'm willing. I have big shoulders. I can handle it. I hope we heard Chad Phillips' side of this at one point, but I kind of saw it. I don't need to hear it because we did say, make sure this is unbiased. Make sure this is unbiased. Unbiased.
Yeah.
I saw what we asked him to come on. He didn't. So it's simple as that. You know, with all that said, Max, it's time to go. And I want to say, you know what? Thank you to all the patrons of the NNRC. We greatly appreciate your support. We can't do it without you. Thank you to all the NNRC squad around the world. Remember to give us a sub, a like, dislike, reviews, comments, all that stuff. It helps us get out into the algorithm stratosphere that is the interwebs. And you know what? Showing the companies that support this podcast some love definitely helps the podcast. So I would like to shout out and say thank you to all those companies. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Techno RC, Beach RC, Lugs Racing, Mayako, JQSM, G-Spec RC Tuning, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Racecraft USA, Clinic RC, JTP RC, RCGP, House of RC, and you know what? Special shout out to my boys, RC Kevin, DR, The Viking, Alex. I haven't spoke to Hagberg. He's been racing quite a lot. He's been busy month for him. I got to hit him up. Good luck to the doctor. And remember, everybody, if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Nitro's the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. Lefty and Max are out. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. We greatly appreciate all the support and love from you, the listeners. Without all of you, none of this is possible. Special thanks to our patrons on Patreon. If you wish to support the podcast further, you can at patreon.com/NNRC podcast. As a patron, you will receive early releases, special content, and patron-only giveaways. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, www.nnrcpodcast.com. Remember, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. If you aren't having fun, it doesn't make sense. And if you ain't grinding, you're sliding. Lefty out. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory.
so bad.